All righty. All right. Hey, welcome to the Make Launches Great Again workshop. All right, so this Make Launches Great Again workshop, I've done a workshop similar to this a couple times. Love it. I have a lot of fun with it every time I do it. It's powerful. This is good stuff. It's powerful stuff. I got chat coming in from a few different places as well. So please know this is definitely interactive. I've taught launch stuff for a long time. In fact, the event that I'm doing in 2 weeks from today, a lot to do, but excited. The event that I'm doing in 2 weeks from today is all about launch strategy. And launching is not just for a new offer or company. In fact, I have a few friends who recently didn't follow launch principles, and they've been in business for a while. And Two Comma Club X winners, right? They didn't follow the launch stuff, and their launch sucked. They didn't get any sales at all. Okay, so it's not just this thing that is meant for someone who's brand new, and that's one of the biggest misconceptions with launching as a whole. All right, now this is interactive. I'm going to be interacting with you guys back and forth. I'm excited to be on with you guys here today and share with you more about how we actually make 4, 5, 6, and even 7-figure launches, which I've done, and I'm excited to walk through that. So before we actually jump in here, though, who here has an offer? Let me say this: if you do you have an offer? We're going to walk through a pre-launch checklist today, and this is the stuff. This is probably going to be about 3 hours, and because what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach. And then after I teach, we're going to apply. And I'll give you guys a few minutes to apply the thing so that by the end of this, you guys actually have a few things, like you're moving. There's progress. It's not just me talking to your face or you virtually. Who has an offer here? Come on, guys. Who's got an offer? No one has an offer. No one sells anything here. Awesome. Hey, there we go. Very cool. Okay. Sweet. Okay. Yeah. A lot of you guys have offers. A lot of you guys have things that you're out there selling. So, all right. So what I want to walk through with you guys. Okay, sweet. Ah, there we go. I was like, did I attract the wrong person with this? Because I don't think I don't think I should. That's all you guys. Right. Now the event that I'm doing in 2 weeks. How many of you guys have heard of the dramatic demonstration formula? I'm gonna teach you guys a little bit of stuff here. Okay, okay, sweet. So the dramatic demonstration formula is something that I found while I was studying a lot of rich dad marketers, P.T. Barnum in particular. And what I started noticing, I was actually going to, this was like 2020, and I started writing down on my whiteboard all the things that I saw P.T. Barnum do to launch without the internet, right? The internet is not necessary for a launch. It's just an accelerant. And so understanding that means we need to remove the internet sometimes in order to understand the actual true principles. And then we can go put the internet back on launching and actually use it as an accelerant instead of a crutch. Does that make sense? I truly don't believe in, I don't think internet marketing is a thing. Okay, there's no such thing as internet marketing. There's marketing that we can do offline. There's marketing that we can do online. You don't need the internet to market. Okay. And sometimes it's helpful to think about them separately so you don't fall into the trap of thinking like, oh, there's a brand new platform every single day. I got to go dive deep onto this. I got to marry it, right? Go super deep with it. So, oh, thanks so much. See, you guys are at Funnel Hacking Live. Yeah, it's good stuff. Thank you. Now, the reason I say that though, and I bring that up, is that the offer launch event that's happening in 2 weeks from now is actually what is fueling the book that Russell Brunson and I are co-authoring together. Without the offer launch event, I wouldn't have gone deeply into all these different launch patterns, and I definitely would not have gone through, and we wouldn't be writing the book. So if you want to know where all this stuff truly comes from, and it's stuff I can't shove into a 40-minute presentation, you know what I mean? So that's why this is a 3-day event, and it's offerlaunch.com. So I'll just put that out there. We'd love to have you guys. We have an amazing speaker lineup: Stu McLaren, Allison Prince, Stacey Martino, Brad Gibb, Brad Langen, who owns the Guinness Book of World Record for the largest virtual summit. There's huge speakers in this, very big speakers in this. So anyway, I'm really psyched to have it and to have you guys with us. Austin Ford's coming. It'll be a huge lineup. I've done 21 events now. This is my 21st event. This is my 3rd time doing offer launch, and I've never had a speaker caliber. Not that the other speakers have been great, but the caliber of them overall is insane. So anyway, let's dive into this though. I'm going to be sharing my screen. Does everyone have pieces of paper? I'm going to give you guys homework. I'm going to teach a little bit. But I'm going to give you guys homework, and I'm going to, hey, what's up over here? Sam, hopefully I said your name all right. I'm sorry if I know I'm probably saying it wrong. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through some pieces of homework. I'm going to teach here for a little bit. And so I'll teach for, 15 minutes, and then I'm going to have you do something. Teach 15 minutes, have you do something. And I'll be using my iPad. I'll be sharing my screen a lot here as I go through it. So as we get started on this, and as we get started, this is the pre-launch checklist. That's the theme of this entire workshop. I found that some people don't even start. I can't go do a launch because I don't know what's involved with it. It's just foggy. So the purpose of this workshop is to remove the fog of what a launch actually takes so that we can go and start designing them. Okay. And we're going to do that by going through the pre-launch checklist itself. And a notebook, love it. You guys ready to rock? Stan, Raymond, R, Phyllis Song, Logan, Natasha, Joan, JD, Jocko, George, Evan, Corey, Christian, Chris, another Chris, Anric, cool name. Andre, what's up, Andre? Alina, Abdu, Will, Tony, Tommy, Terry, Steve, Stephanie, Stan, Sergey. I think I'm going through everybody here. Psyched. This will be fun. And a lot of people ask what I do on my day-to-day, like just what I do. Like what is your day filled with? Well, my day is filled by me looking at whatever campaigns are coming up in my own company and in my clients. I do a lot of consulting, and a lot of people ask, like, where'd you go? I do a lot of consulting, and what I'm filling my day with, though, my to-do list, is a lot of the stuff that I'm going to walk through with you guys now. Okay, walk through you guys with today. So you guys cool if I go through this? Yeah. We good? Don't make me put the pig head back on here. Let's go. Boom. Sounds good. All right, let's do this. That's enough reframe. Let's dive on into this thing here. All right, now before we jump into the actual pieces here, I just need to know where everybody is in terms of how they launch. So what I'm going to do is share my screen, and please in the comments tell me what your biggest struggles are with launching. Either biggest struggles or, hey, I would launch if I only had X. What are those things? What are those pieces where you can actually go launch confidently? Like, hey, here's the checklist. Here's the things that I need. Here's the things I've been struggling with. All right, I got my iPad and we're drawing. Cool. Let me pull up the chats and check it out. What are those things here? Because I want to write them down. My aim in doing this is to see if I can't knock out all of the questions you guys have ever had about launching while we go through this. So what is it, the thing that keeps you back from launching? Hey, what's up, James? How you doing? What are those pieces? How to create momentum charged among my audience towards the launch. Ooh, okay, yeah. How to create momentum. So you mean like you want to create momentum, you want to, how do you like kick that ball going? I got something coming up, come check it out. Like the art of attention getting a little bit there. Okay, cool. Let's see, how to create momentum charged. So creating momentum for the launch. I don't know why I'm writing in green, but I am. Let's see, haven't felt ready. How so? What makes you feel not ready? I'm trying to get to the core of what keeps people from actually launching here too. Okay. Getting people to the sales page, so visibility. Okay, so actually, how do we actually get people to the sales page? People to the sales page. And that might be something as simple as ads, but I actually don't use ads in my launches until I can make it convert organically. So a lot of people think like, oh, I gotta have all this money to go launch. No, you don't. Okay, I never have spent $1 of my own on my ads ever. Still in my entire career. What I do is what I'm going to teach you is how I launch without using something like ads, because ads are not an answer. They're just an accelerant. If I can't get, even Albert Lasker said this, who's a famous marketer in the 1950s. He actually is the guy that invented the orange juice press that you probably all have. You know, you cut an orange in half and you squeeze it on that little ribbed thing. His marketing firm invented that to sell oranges. But he said in the 1950s, he said, the product that will not sell profitably without ads will not sell profitably with ads. Ads are not the answer. They're an accelerant. And so what we're going to do is we need to craft messaging and create messaging that makes something sell without you doing some big hypey thing, pull the initial cash off the table, and then go take the money that you got original sales from. And it may not be a lot, but who cares? It's not your money. Then dump that in ads. That's how I've never put myself at risk ads wise. You totally should get to ads as fast as possible, but it's a matter of timing, not if. And I push it way back. Haven't felt ready yet. Getting people to the sales page. Yeah. So again, could be ads, could be other things. Need a framework. Unsure if all offers need a launch. Great. Thank you so much, Natasha. So unsure if all offers need a launch. Fantastic. Do all offers need a launch? You can see I'm very passionate about this stuff. I'm going to talk a lot. Thank you very much. Clarity. JD, appreciate that. What kind of clarity are you looking for though? What specifically is that thing that you're like, hey, I would go do launches if only I had blank, you know what I mean? Perfecting the product. Great. I love it, JD. Thank you. So you want to have that perfected product. We're actually going to go through that a little bit today. Love it. Trying to make perfect instead of just doing it. Ooh, yes. I was about to dive into that. Let me write it and then we'll go into it in a bit here. Okay. Making it perfect instead of just doing it. Instead of just doing the thing. Totally. Getting people to show up to my webinar. I launch with the webinar leading to my offer. Cool. So actually getting people to the webinar. Attendance. So what needs to be done? Oh, yeah. What needs to be done to support the launch before and after? Great question, Natasha. Okay. We're going to go through that as well, actually. Really the pre part though, supporting. I'm very prepared. I'm excited to do this stuff with you guys today. Thanks for being involved, like engaging with me as well. I see James over here said, I will launch if I can get more people to raise their hands for the topic I teach. Okay. That's powerful. You're going to say, so I'm paraphrasing. I'm going to launch if people are raising their hand. Okay. Sorry I was late. Oh, you're cool. No worries. Don't want to be a flop, need to succeed. Yeah, don't want it to be a flop. Launching failure. Right? Like the pain of that. It sucks. I had a friend go through that recently. Hooks. You know how I feel about hooks. Hooks. Okay, sounds good. I'm a consultant who's starting from scratch. What's holding me up is knowing where to start. Yeah, just simple education on where to start. How do you craft the launch itself? How to craft the launch. I'm paraphrasing them so I can make sure we kind of hit each as we go through here, which we'll probably not get through all of them, but I'm going to do my best to try to knock these out. So you're pivoting from a constant launch cycle and now trying to build continuity. Ooh, yeah, right. So you're trying to go in and you've got a launch. How do you not get stuck in a launch business, but still use the power of a launch? I've noticed that this is something that is keeping people from launching because there's people who are like, don't be a launch company, which is stupid because launch businesses can make millions of dollars. First off, number one. So it's worth it. Number two, every offer, even if you're an existing company, needs a launch. Launching is just a skill set for money getting, right? Whether or not you're brand new or you've been in business for a while. So it's still something to be using. So that I love that. Absolutely. A launch business to, I call it evergreening. It's evergreen, that transition right there. So figuring out what my offer is. Totally get it. I think I wrote that down. My list is dead. How do we wake it up? Dead list. And it might be that it just is dead, you know? So not that you can't leverage some of it. Love to find out how to make money before you launch or while launching. Yeah. Okay. Love it. And then we'll go for just like two more here and then I'll move forward. Make money while launching. Yeah. I have some friends who spend millions of dollars on their launch. I have other friends who've never spent $1 on their launch, and it's still a launch. The money again is just it can be an accelerant, but it's not that it has to cost things to launch things. Simplifying my offer so it doesn't cost me before I get paid. Difficulties with fulfillment. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cost of fulfillment. Fulfillment before. I'm just like before cash flow, before you're actually cash flow positive. That was a hook that got me here. You like the hook? I'm such a goofball. I'm just a kid at heart, So doing stupid stuff with this thing is a launch. Okay, simplifying the offer, and then we got over here. I think that's it. So let me just review real quick. So the questions you guys are saying that you're having that are keeping you from launching or going for it are things like, how do I create momentum for it? Absolutely. Let's see here. Okay, how to get people to my actual sales page itself. How do all offers need a launch in general? Should I have a perfected product prior to the launch? Making it perfect instead of just doing it. There's some perfectionism going on, and that's totally fine. That means you're an entrepreneur, by the way. Webinar attendance, support it before and after and kind of during. Yeah, that's a whole speech actually in my event, because that matters. And I didn't learn that without sitting next to Russell Brunson for 2 years. It's a hard thing to just like learn without seeing it. Launch equals if people raise their hand. How do you get people to raise? Oh, you'll launch if you get people to raise their hand. Afraid of having a launch failure. Totally get it. How to get the hook. The hook's a huge piece, obviously. How to craft the actual launch. You're stuck in a launch business. How do you automate it? The list feels dead. Make money while launching, and the cost of fulfillment before being cash flow positive. Yeah. Okay. Ready? Here we go. Let me get my water real quick, and let's dive on into this. So, I am pulling from a few different places here, but I'm going to walk you guys through a really key piece. And some of you guys may have heard, I just want to tell a quick story. I'm not going to story tell this whole time. I really want to focus on the workshop part, but I think it just illustrates, I think, something that a lot of you guys seem to be going through. And it will set up and pre-frame really what it is that I'm going to be walking you through quite well. So just pulling the comments in a few different places, organizing them, making sure I can see them, because we're about to dive on in. Okay. So you guys know, or you may not know, because I'm putting this in a few different places. I was a funnel builder at ClickFunnels for 2 years, right? And I got hired out of college. I was already a funnel builder. I was building funnels for other companies while in college and getting in fights with my internet marketing teachers about different strategies. I was like, well, that's not how it works because I'm doing it, And so I get in fights with them. Anyone else get in little fights with other people who are supposed to be market professionals? And it's not their fault. They were teaching me general advertising principles, which is what I do not practice. This is all direct response. When I got hired to work at ClickFunnels, it actually was not to work on ClickFunnels funnels. I was actually Russell Brunson's personal funnel builder. So we were building funnels for all of his clients, really big people, really big people, people's TV shows on CNBC, big people. Maybe, I don't know if I should say their name, maybe not, I don't know. But a lot of them. And so let me just ask you, put yourself in my shoes here. Okay. If you're Russell Brunson's funnel builder and you're watching him go have a funnel idea, which this is how he has funnel ideas. It was quiet. Our desk was in the same room. I sat this far from him. He'd go, and then we'd run over to a whiteboard barefoot, and he'd just start drawing out all these funnels, and they'd look like chicken scratch, just like straight up. There's this, that. Remember that thing you built 2 weeks ago? Take that section, put it right here. Remember the thing you built 2 minutes ago? I want you to put that right there, but tweak. I mean, it was like cannon fire hose, and so then we go build it, and he would like poop out another $1 million in 3 weeks. And there's just like clockwork again and again. And I'm watching him pull like $1 million every time we go do this thing. And so you're Russell Brunson's funnel person. What would you be doing when you're not at work? What would you be doing? No judgment, because I did it too. Studying funnels, absolutely. But if you personally were the builder of the funnel that made $1 million in another 3 weeks, what funnels would you be building? Copying, exactly, modeling, doing the exact same one, so I did. What do you think I was doing in the evening, in the mornings? I'm like looking at the funnel. I'm not funnel hacking. I built it, right? That's as close to the horse's mouth as you can get, right? And so I'm building these funnels morning and night, morning and night, morning and night. And I'm looking at it. And what most people don't realize is, so I went through 34 product failures before I got one to really work. But about 17 of them, the last 17 of the 34, about half of them were while I was at ClickFunnels. I was building Russell Brunson's funnels. He was making a ton of money. I was going home and I'd get up at 5 a.m. and I'd be in at the office at 6 a.m. And from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., I would just be building the same things that I was building during the day for him. But none of them worked. None of them worked. Right? That was embarrassing. I couldn't get my own funnel to be converting for like the first 7 months that I was Russell Brunson's funnel builder, but I couldn't get one of my own to work. Most people don't know that story. Crazy. Was copy different? Everything was different. Here's what I thought. I thought I was going to get fired for the first 7 months that I worked there. Because what happened is I left college, or I didn't leave, I graduated college, went straight, like 4 days after I graduated, I'm sitting next to Russell and we're building funnels, right? Well, the first funnel I ever developed and sent over to him, he destroyed like 99% of it. I was like, crap. So I went and I rebuilt it and then he accepted it. And then after that, it was like 90% of it. And then after that, it was like 89% of it. I mean, this went on for 13 months. It took 13 months for me to finally walk in. I remember the day perfectly. I walked into his office. My desk was there too, right? Walked into his office and he goes, "Hey man, did you deliver that funnel last night, right?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "That was a good job." He's like, "I only changed one word in the headline. I didn't touch anything else." And I was like, "Yeah." I put my arms up and he was like, and I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "What?" I said, "This is the first time." I thought you were going to fire me for like the first 6 months. You have destroyed everything that I have given you over and over and over and over. I had to rebuild like crazy. And he goes, "I was not going to fire you." He goes, "I was turning you into a funnel builder. You were a great marketer when you were a great funnel builder when you showed up. I was turning you into a marketer." Pause for effect. Holy crap. I was a good funnel builder when I showed up. I know I was. He was turning me into a marketer. I thought they were the same thing for far too long, even working for that guy. And what I had to unlearn was thinking that a sales funnel has anything to do with marketing. So I finally started looking left because he's sitting next to me, right? So we'd be working on the same funnel project and I'd be building the funnel, but he would be doing the marketing. What was making the money? What he was doing. So we have to rethink about what a sales funnel is first and foremost, and really understand the power of the launch. Okay. It's not like sales funnels were suddenly invented in the way that we think about them. And now finally we could make money and finally launches happen. No, I think of a sales funnel like a catcher's mitt. And something still has to throw the ball in order for you to be playing the game, right? It's just a stagnant catcher's mitt. And it captures the effects of your marketing out in the marketplace. And so that's what we're going to go through, is this skill of marketing is very different mentality than entrepreneurship and is a very different mentality than funnel building. Okay. This is a huge, yeah, exactly. Right. Exactly, Raymond. It's a totally different skill set. And so if you're sitting, I'm looking at this list here, right? So let me just go through here real fast. And what we need to do is I'm trying to open up a gap in your head, if this is all right, with the realization that 50% of the problem is a mentality problem. Okay. How do we create momentum for the launch? Well, the role of a marketer is the attention getter, measured by lead gen only. So it's the person that the mindset that gets attention, and it's measured in lead gen only. We don't measure marketing with likes, subscribes, comments, followers, shares. Those are metrics, not marketing. They're powerful. I'm not saying you shouldn't measure them. Measure the growth. But truly, when it comes down to it, marketing is only lead gen. Anything outside of it is just an appendage to it. So that our sales funnel, what's the function of sales? Closing, right? What do salespeople always want more of? I was a phone guy for a while. I was also a door-to-door salesman. I always wanted more leads, right? It's the role of the marketer to generate the lead, pre-framed, pre-qualified, and the salesperson to present the offer, overcome objections, and close them and collect the cash, right? So think about the word sales funnel. Again, we don't call it a marketing funnel for a reason. It's a sales function, not a marketing function. Marketing is what happens before page one of your funnel. And so what most people have done in a lot of the internet marketing space is think that a funnel is marketing. It is not. It is the catcher's mitt. It is the sales function, right? If that's what you're choosing to use it as. Is this helpful so far? I'm trying to shift this furniture in your guys' head so you guys can understand that the launching in is really a marketing function, and it's a very different mindset than entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship says, ooh, I need to go have a perfect product. Which you should have that mentality. As an entrepreneur, you're finding and solving a valuable problem. That's all you're doing as an entrepreneur. All right. So you're showing up and you're saying, I'm going to go solve this problem. But there's a lot of entrepreneurs with amazing products that are broke. And the reason is because they have a mentality problem. They're trying to go sell their product like an entrepreneur. You get too techno-babbly, right? Has anyone ever done that? Way too techno-babbly. And because you made the product and you're a diehard of your own product, which you should be, you're looking at the product and you're like, my product has these things in it and it has this stuff in it. And we start to think that talking about features, right, and certain little benefits, that's the only way. That's how we talk about the actual product. No, right? They're not a diehard of your thing yet. In fact, it pushes people away. And so perfected products, yeah. But let me just first off say that you're never going to build a perfect product without talking to the market. You're not selling you. So after a while, your opinions don't matter, which means you got to get in front of a lot of people, which means your product will probably not be perfect before you launch it. That's not licensed to launch crap. Okay. Make it as best as you possibly can. Make it incredible. But then after a while, be like, I actually should never view my product personally as perfected because I'm not the one buying it. I'm not the one using it. I'm selling it. And then I'm looking at the person who bought it saying, is this meeting your needs entirely as I was wanting to try to meet them? It's not? Cool. Oh, it is in these areas, but what are you wanting more of? Sweet. Let me go tweak this, tweak, change. Then you go reship it, right? Same thing with the, right? If the iPhone was, if they were trying to make it perfect, we would already be having, iPhone 15 would be version 1, right? That's not right? They keep making new versions based on user feedback and interface. So having a perfected product is 100% an entrepreneurship mentality, trying to be a marketer. Shift hats. I know it's cheesy and stupid, but sometimes I will literally take a hat off and be like, hey, I'm no longer an entrepreneur in this moment. Entrepreneur is the broke mentality. I'm going to go and put a marketer hat on, which is the lead gen getting, attention getter, right? We are problem solvers. Thanks for the mindset shift. Yeah, right. And you're an incredible problem solver. I am too. But what I was not understanding next to Russell was this huge contrast in roles that a business needs to just get off the ground, right? Okay. Do all offers need a launch? Maybe rethink I'm going to go through these real quick, and then I'm going to go through what I actually planned. If there's any questions you guys are coming up with, though, if there's any kind of like, this is meant to be interactive, just let me know. I'm watching the comments right now. But I'm going to get to my actual planned thing here in just a second. But anyway, I know I spent 30 minutes. I just want to help right out of the gate. You guys see where you might be thinking maybe a little bit differently on this and might need to switch it. Do all offers need a launch? Yeah, but that doesn't mean that you have to do like a Hollywood style roll out the red carpet, gigantic thing, but you still have to tell the marketplace that your thing's even a thing. Quick example on this. So I'm in my studio, right? Got this giant screen right here. I want you to come to Offer Launch. But so this is my 21st event, right? The one that we're doing in 2 weeks now. And I do a lot of events. They're the fastest way to get someone it's the fastest way to shift someone's mental state and actually leave a different human being, you know? So, one of my events, I had, 650 people at an in-person event in Boise in 2019. And for an event called Offer Mind, which is more about entrepreneurship. Offer Launch is about marketing, has nothing to do with entrepreneurship. So I have two different main events, and one's about entrepreneurship, one's about marketing, and they're not about each other at all. Very different mindsets. So anyway, I was standing on stage and I was like, hey, I just want to illustrate real quick. Oh, you were there? Sweet. Oh, that's right. You were there, Jim. Yeah. I said, I want to illustrate very quickly to you just a really powerful principle. Just play ball with me for a second. How many of you guys first heard about this event 2 weeks ago? And all these hands raised. And I was like, seriously? I was like, oh, okay, let's go. They're playing straight into my point though. I was like, hey, how about a month ago? Right? Slightly fewer hands. 6 weeks, 8 weeks. And I kept going backwards. 3 months, 4 months. I said, guys, I've been talking about this event almost exclusively for 5 months now. And you're telling me, raise your hands again if it's within 2 months. You guys didn't even hear about it until that amount of time. What? One of the most powerful parts you have to recognize with marketing. So do all offers need a launch? You have to realize that it takes time for a marketplace to even know that you have a thing, not a buying decision, that you even exist, right? That you're even there. And I was not new in this space when I was doing that demonstration on stage. You guys get that? You're going to get tired of your sales message far before the marketplace does. Don't think that it means that it's wrong, though. I don't want to hear Russell Brunson's potato gun story anymore. I'm so sick of hearing it. He's sick of telling it. But guess what? It sells ClickFunnels, right? It got to the point, especially when we were launching Expert Secrets version 1. This is when I still worked for him. It got to the point where he would do like 3 weeks of interviews back to back, like launching the book. And my desk is right there, right? So I'm hearing him on every one of these interviews tell the same stories over and over and over and over and over and over on all these different shows. So it got to the point where he was like, another person was coming on and he's about to unmute and turn his camera on, and he just looks over at me across the room and goes, I'm sorry. And I was holding my headphones and I go, it's okay. It sells ClickFunnels. And just recognize that's just part of the game. All right, that's just part of the game. It takes time for the marketplace to even know that you exist, which means if you're not talking, meaning putting out content or making some kind of noise, people don't even know you're alive, much less have a product. Think about you there's like what I don't remember the stat is. We all are exposed to like 5,000 ads and brands a day or something like that. Like, it's some ridiculous number. So if you're not talking at all, just by volume, you'll be buried. And so, and same is true with people who have a product or they have a business or they're already in cash flowing, right? They're already a company. There are certain types of launches where you keep it back and then suddenly just release it. Certain artists do that, right? But they also prime their audience for those types of things. Okay. All right. So I hope that was helpful. I don't remember who said that one, but just recognize that do all offers need a launch? What all offers need is noise. You got to be able to get attention somehow, right? And why not make it this pump of cash that you can cash flow off of, pay off the costs of building the project, pay off the people, right? And then you're left with a little extra money you can go dump into ads. That's how I get world-class assets created for basically free. How to get people to the sales page. You do that through the launch. We'll walk through that as well. Making perfect instead of just doing it. Recognize that the best offers are co-created with the market. You don't ever build. Entrepreneurship is awesome. You can do a huge amount of your product and service creation, whatever your problem is that you're solving. You can do a lot of that in a cave. Entrepreneurship allows it, but you can't do marketing in a cave. And that mentality shift is usually what kind of shakes the boat. Rocks the boat, shakes the tree for people mentally, because they're like, I don't know how to go. Oh man, now I got to get away from the cave. I got to leave the cave and start getting attention. That's where a lot of the uncomfort or the discomfort comes from for a lot of entrepreneurs. Okay. So you co-create the product, as much of it as possible, with the marketplace. Do whatever you want to. Your mad science geniusness inside of a cave. Absolutely. You're all creative, innovative entrepreneurs. But after a while, leave the cave and leave gaps in your head, recognizing that what you created is broken to some degree. And you need customer feedback always to iterate and iterate and iterate and iterate. All right. How do you get people attending? Absolutely. Yeah, we'll walk through that as well. How do you support the launch? I go through that in pretty huge detail at the Offer Launch event. But oops, we probably won't go through that because I want to focus on the pre-launch checklist, not the during the things. And then this is an interesting one. You're going to launch if people are raising their hand. You actually will get people to raise their hand after and during you launch, not before. Very few offers successfully get people to raise their hand prior to. Think of like those crowdsourcing sites, right? There's a lot of them out there. That's people raising their hand and funding the project. But it's a way. It's a way. But launching is what's actually going to get people to raise their hand. Yeah. How do you can you get a launch failure? You can, but I've never actually had a launch fail because it was a launch. You know what I'm saying? Anytime I built a product that didn't do as great is because I didn't build an actual launch. I relied on announcing it. Doing a post, that's not launching. Okay, most people think that that's, people just don't want my thing. They probably do, but you didn't build a launch. You built an announcement, a billboard, hey, by the way, and that's not a launch. It's a sneeze, it's like, dude, I sneezed. How come it wasn't felt around the marketplace? Right. So just, you'll get people to raise their hand during and with the launch. And it's also why we view launches as not an instant. Launches should take a few weeks. I'm launching. I'm in the middle of my launch. You've heard people say that before, probably, right? I'm in the middle of my launch right now, right? Where we built the pressure, we're announcing it, and we're on this crescendo that's happening right now as we continue to do the launch. And in this space is where I'm doing major product tweaks based on customer feedback and interaction, right? And that helps people go for the launch a little bit better. So, all right, hooks. You definitely, I do not launch without a hook. So we'll go through that shortly. I'm going to go through stuff that you may not be thinking about. So how to craft the launch, absolutely. Offer launch itself, the event is more about that, but we're going to do most of the pre-launch checklist stuff today. Launching a business versus, being in a launch business versus being evergreen. Transitioning from launching a lot to automating it, you really start to take off the marketer hat and put on the CEO hat or CMO hat. And because automating has a lot to do with systems, teams, right? Roles, stuff like that. So you're handing the project from the entrepreneur to the marketer to the CMO and building systems out of it. And that's really what goes on there. But we'll talk more about that. That's actually at the event. My list feels a little bit dead, and it might be, I've gone through that. It might be, here's the good news. I said this at Funnel Hacking Live. There was a gasp. But most people don't think of it like this. You don't get a list and then launch. Okay, the list comes from the launch. Now, if you have a list, Of course, it's an accelerant, it's an asset, it'll speed you up. But you don't try to get a list and then launch. You can, I mean, it's powerful, you should, right? But recognize that think of it more along the lines of you get a list while launching. And if you don't have a list, that doesn't mean you don't launch. But one of the byproducts of doing a launch is a list. My list grows the fastest and the best and the biggest while I'm in the middle of a launch, not before. Because you give them a reason to join you, right? So the dead list could be revived with just a really strong launch, giving them a reason to check back into you. This last one, two more here, make money while launching. Yeah, totally. A lot of times the cash that tends to come in during a launch looks like this. It's like huge spike of cash, and then usually it drops really low. And then as you're about to close cart, boom, another big spike of cash. So usually it's on cart open, if you've done it right, there's a big bump of cash, and then cart closes, another big bump of cash, usually doubling cash collected typically. No, not always, but cost of fulfillment before the cash flow. Yeah, there's ways we get around with that as well. It has more to do with how I build the product. But we'll go, and we probably won't have a chance to go into that one. All right, I just jumped into a bunch of stuff here, but let me dive into what I was actually going to go through. Is this helpful so far already? I got to change the furniture in the head a little bit. And now I feel like we can dive into the pre-launch checklist. I'm in the middle of my launch right now. Cool. Do you recommend giving some awesome free stuff with lead magnets as part of the launch? Yeah, totally. Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm going to turn the AC off. It's freezing. It's right there. And then let's get started here. What I'd like you guys to do is take a piece of paper out and just draw a line, because we're going to go through the timeline of launching. Just give me 1 second. All right. Timeline of launching. So here we go. What we're going to do is, okay, the whole point of this is to walk through the pre-launch checklist, right? This workshop today. I've talked for 40 minutes. I'll give you guys some homework in a bit here. But so we got a checklist. All right. Then what we go through is this pressure phase, where you're building up pressure, all right, anticipation, key emotions, excitement. And notice that it's emotions, not features of your thing, that we're really leaning into. Very different mentality, very key. Okay, as time goes on, what we're doing is we're dropping these little tiny splashes, okay, little tiny pieces out in the marketplace. Hey, we got something coming. Hey, things are popping up here. Hey, we got this little one-day workshop. What are you in right now? Hey, we got this little, these are little baby noisemakers. Not that they're meant to be small, but they're not the launch, okay? They are little tiny noisemakers that we're doing. They're small noisemakers, and the intent behind them is to get someone's attention. Right? Noise is the predecessor to attention, or precedes attention. Right? And then we want to get someone to become a lead. Right? And go take some action. So some kind of action, i.e., go opt in here to be on the pre-launch waiting list, which is one of my favorite ways to launch stuff. Go listen to this podcast episode where I'm going to dive into why this product solves XYZ problem. Some kind of engagement with the audience prior to actually letting them go buy. During this time, I'm not letting them buy. Even someone who's like, dude, just give me the freaking credit card form, right? Which happens all the time, right? Come on, man, just give me the link. That's a good thing. Doesn't mean you're bad. Doesn't mean you're doing the wrong way, right? People say that all the time. Come on, just give me the link. Just give me this piece. So what we're doing is we're creating these little tiny noise pieces so that by the time the launch happens, think of it like this. Let's say, what's a movie you guys saw in Hollywood recently that you really liked? I know it came out like 2 years ago, but I loved the movie 1917 and Dune. Those are like two of my favorite movies right now. Dune is the first time I've ever, like, it's the first time in like 15 years I've read a non-business book. Anyone like those movies? Imagine Hollywood spends $100 million on a movie, their product. They're like, oh man, I've spent $100 million on my movie. I'm not going to tell anyone about it until it's in theaters. Doesn't work like that, right? That's essentially what people do with their product. They're like, I've built in a cave. And then they like drop it out one time to their Facebook or something like that. And they're like, I launched it and no one knew about it. No one wants it. Well, you haven't built up any anticipation, pressure, desire, excitement. That takes time. That takes time to do that. So what you have to realize is that when you're a marketer and you're in the marketing mentality and you're in the marketing mindset, time is your ally. Longer time is your ally. What is the difference between a 5, 6, and 7-figure launch? Time. Promotion time. That's it. The stuff that I've taken the longest to launch makes the most money hands down. And it's because all I'm doing is extending out, building up pressure, building up pressure, building up pressure. And then right here, I'm opening cart. And usually there's a drop in cash in terms of how many people are buying. And then I have a close cart. And that's kind of how it works. So I want you to think of it in this timeline like that. So what we're going to do is, I know it's a little messy and drawing weird, but is that helpful? Good stuff. So recognize that that's really what we're doing in here. So there's a lot of people, you don't have to do this, but my best launches are still a minimum of 3 months long. Okay. 3 months long. Let me give you an example. I really wanted to go that event where there was 650 people in person. Like I said, I promoted it for 5 months. That's what I mean. And you still can launch an event. And so inside of there was like, I did a summit. I did a, blah, I did a blah, I did a blah. But each one of them referenced, talked about, build pressure to, and gave bonuses for the thing that was coming down the pipeline. Okay. All right. Questions. This is very marketing mentality, very little entrepreneurship mentality. All right. We're trying to rock the boat. If we, you guys probably hear about this term, red ocean, blue ocean, right? Where we talk about a marketplace being an ocean. Well, the issue is that people build products and offers and services that have a 6 and 7-figure possibility, but they build like a 2-figure launch. I want to realize that constructing a launch, and I don't want this to freak anyone out, but constructing a launch is typically the same amount of work as building your offer was. If you have a 5 or 6-figure potential product, you need to now build a matching 5 or 6-figure level launch. Rock the boat. If we call it an ocean, don't do a little kiddie pool splash. Build a tsunami. Build a tidal wave that goes through the entire marketplace, forcing everyone to make a snap judgment decision on you. That's why I wear the shirt. It splits the crowd like the Red Sea, baby. I know it, right? This is always something out in the front. My shirt is just bringing people toward me. What's Steve Larson up to? Who's that dude that wears the red pig shirt thingy? He says oink all the time. Giant eyeballs, shaved head, looks kind of goofy, but he's awesome. Not my words, everyone else's. Right? Notice that, so we're drawing people towards us. Now, there's 2 ways to go about this. And I need to stop here because I want to go into the actual checklist here in just a second. I know I keep saying that, but I think this has been helpful. I didn't realize the problems you guys are having are the problems you're having. And so it kind of put me down this other rabbit hole. So hopefully it's cool that I'm like walking through this a little bit more. But your financial Your sales life will change by doing this one thing. The stereotypical broke, like, here's the stereotypical marketer. Okay, stereotypical marketer wakes up each day and they are seeking leads, right? They wake up seeking leads, the direction of attention, all their activity. I got to go find people to pitch. I got to go create, how can I get more people into my business? Good question. Great question. Okay. That's a stereotypical marketer. And that usually is someone who's relying on general marketing principles and not direct response like I teach. Okay. What you need to do is the exact opposite. Okay. Like a true marketer does this. A true marketer does things in the marketplace that's so loud, not annoying, loud, that gets people's attention so that they wake up and they realize that they've been sought while they sleep. They're not waking up and seeking leads. They wake up and people are like, hey, can I work with you? What are you doing? It seems like you kind of understand my problem. What are you doing? That's why we launch. Changing the direction of the arrows means you control daily lead flow. If you can control daily lead flow, don't do this, but you could have a crappy product and succeed. If you're in demand, that's how strong this is. That's why we launch, is we're changing the directions of the arrows. We're doing things, we're taking advantage of this pre-availability phase, like P.T. Barnum. We're building pressure, building anticipation, we're using that to really, I'm not saying that you can't sell or make money for this, for a 5-month time period. Okay. I'm just giving you an example, but recognize that that's why we do it. And we put off, and guys, I got to tell you, I'm at the point now where when I build my offer and I know that it's good, I don't ever touch it again or look at it again or think about it again, even my sales funnel again, until I'm actually post-purchase working with the customer. That's not the moneymaker. I can't tweak my product into riches. But what I can do is build a really, really, really loud launch, right? And control lead flow so that people are coming to me. That's what true marketers do. Okay. All right, we good? I see a few comments coming in here. So, how does this relate to the MIFTY where your continuity program is always open cart? Yeah, your continuity is open cart, but the thing that you're using to get people to join continuity is not. For example, like my 5-day challenge, I've done it live several times, and now we're going to automate it. So it runs once a month. And so notice that something that's always available is not interesting. You immediately become more interesting if it's not always available. So once a month, I'm going to have this automated challenge, and it's going to push people into my continuity piece. Okay. And notice it's that pressure. So we're going to use that 3 weeks to build pressure every single month and with an automated challenge and pull people in that way. Great question. Love it. Awesome. Would it be a good idea to start a launch without having started your product? You can do that. It tends to be for someone a little more experienced, and I'm not saying it can't work. What you open up is a lot of scenarios to, there's a lot of scenarios where you can kind of misrepresent what you're selling because you don't have clarity on it yet, right? Not that it has to be perfect, but like at least you know what problem you're solving and how you solve it. You know what I mean? And we're gonna walk through that here a little bit in a moment, just with this checklist. So the great precursor actually to what I'm going to walk through. Launching a book soon. If I don't have a high ticket product behind it, will that hold me back from putting together a strong launch, or is it just an easy to do with a low ticket? Yeah, it has very little. Great question, Dave. Whatever the price points are of the things that you're selling, it has more to do with how much money you collect rather than the ability for it to be a loud thing, right? Like a movie ticket is like $20, right? It's not high ticket, but it's loud, you know? So that has more to do with how you're going to cash flow from doing a launch. But yeah. My husband proudly wears your shirt, your Capital Speak hat. Yeah, I love it. Very cool. Very cool. Cloning stuff, no brand, no trust, no traffic. Yeah. Okay. So let's dive into the actual checklist here. And we're going to shoot into this. I'm not going to use these ugly colors anymore either. So a lot of people, even though my background is as a funnel builder and was the lead funnel builder at ClickFunnels, And for a while, I kind of touted around as the offer guy. What I actually am hired for, though, is marketing, not funnel building. I'm hired for campaign and marketing and launch strategy, more than content stuff. I call it attention design, is what I do. So, and I teach a philosophy. I don't love red ocean, blue ocean. This is besides the point of what we're talking about here today. But I truly believe that market disruption, you can go further faster with a product by disrupting an existing market than trying to build a market. Like this whole red ocean, blue ocean thing. Ugh. That's not a good move for everybody. That's a move, not the method. I prefer red ocean, blue offer, meaning stay in the red. Wherever it's highly competitive is a gift to your launch. It's easier to disrupt a market than it is to create one. Okay. So I'm a huge, huge believer in that. So, all right, now I want to walk through this checklist here, and I'm going to shoot through a little bit more of what this pre-launch checklist is, because I have my own process for launching, obviously. I don't even think about the launch, though, until step 11 of 12. Meaning there's a lot of stuff that I go gather and pull together prior to even thinking through or designing a launch. Right? And a lot of it is because I'm trying to stay in the mentality that I'm of whatever zone I'm in. Meaning if I'm an entrepreneur, I'm not going to be thinking about marketing yet. Let me just make the product as awesome as I possibly can. Let me just make something that absolutely rocks. Right. But then once I'm like, man, I think that rocks. This is so good. Now let me take off entrepreneur and let me go start thinking about marketer. In that is step 11, which is launch, and actually start designing the launch for it. I think it's helpful to think of them in separate silos because of that. Yeah. All right. Now there's two major kinds of launches. One is the launch that pushes something into orbit. And the second is the automation and evergreen style, right? There's things that we do to put a product into orbit or in the market. And then there's things that we do to keep it in orbit. And so you think of the word launch, I'm trying to think just like a rocket, right? There's things that we do. Is the rocket good? Is my product good? Do I have a launch pad built? Can't just launch a rocket from the factory. They have to build something to launch the product. Interesting point, right? Every rocket requires a launch pad and a support crew and people, right? There's things going, you don't just have a finished product just because the rocket's done, right? And then when you put it out into orbit, how does it stay and maintain and keep in orbit? And those are two different activities with that, right? Can we also get the recording? I'm in Mexico. It's very bad internet. Oh, yeah. I'll tell you how in just a bit here. Totally. Let me keep going though. Cool. I love it. Thanks for engaging as well with these questions on this. All right. So let's start shooting into this. I have had a lot of students do this. I'm very proud to say that reported, I've had over $100 million come into my students' lives because of my stuff. My stuff's good and I'm psyched for it. So I want to walk through the things you must have clarity on before launching a product. Okay. Some obvious things that you need something to sell, right? You need something to sell. Got to have the offer. Right. Got to have a deadline. I truly believe that you should have results for whatever it is you're selling. Need a hook. Right. And a lot of these things came, you guys know Bill Glazer, awesome guy, very smart. And he's got this book called like Crazy Outrageous Marketing Campaigns or something like that. Anyway, so something that comes from there. But now that stuff's like, it's kind of obvious, right? You're going to be thinking through the fact that you need a hook, right? Got to have a headline. I think that you should have social proof. You should have testimonials or whatever whatever the FTC needs me to say on that now. All right. You should have proof that your thing works, right? Which is another reason why before I usually go do a launch, I'll do like a little mini beta to spot check if my offer does what I say it does, to get people results, to create those stories, to capture those stories so I can use them in the launch. Launching without results is really tough. It's not that you can't do it, but you got to sell a lot harder. And so that right. Right. So looking back on this timeline piece here of how we actually do the launch, there's usually another little piece right here prior to doing the launch where I am, here we go. It's the beta. Not that you have to do this, and not that it needs to be called a beta or whatever, but I just try to go grab a small group of people to do my thing for free, usually. And I upfront will tell them, hey, look, I'm going to go put this out soon. You want to join at either a lower rate or for free. I've done both. And in return, I'm going to be a little more involved than I normally would when I sell this. And it's because I need your feedback. So let's have a call each week with the group of you for the next few weeks. And I want you guys to like blow holes in what I've built and also tell me what you wish it did. And that's, that's very helpful. That's very helpful. It's very hard to go, it's very hard to go launch without social proof. Not that you can't again, but I mean, even notice how Hollywood does it. Forbes gives this 2 enthusiastic thumbs up, right? They're quoting people. They're borrowing authority from other things, saying this is a good thing on the first time you can go buy it, which means it's already been seen by people. It's already right. So mimic that, right? Mimic that. Anyway, so the pre-launch piece is huge. So what I want to walk through though is, let me make sure. Yeah. Okay. What I want to walk through though is like, okay, those are obvious things, right? You're going to have offer, got to have deadline, got to have results. You don't actually have to have a sales funnel. In the way that we think about it, like this. I have something called a 28-day build it challenge and a 28-day launch it challenge. And the whole point is to help someone build and launch their offer without a funnel or a list. And it works. People are doing it. Sometimes it's sometimes thinking that you have to go do this to do a launch. If you're not a funnel builder, all it does is increase the distance to success, increases the complexity, and makes you think that the funnel is the launch. Again, remember, it's just the catcher's mitt. The launch is what you're doing out in the marketplace to get people to you. So what I like to teach now and have people go through, if you want a funnel, sweet, but don't mistake it for being the launch, right? Just the catcher's mitt. And so what I do with a lot of people now, though, is I'll have them go do a launch just on their social media, sending a PayPal invoice, right? Still can do a launch, still can make money like that. I have people who do that now, citing my own proof. So, all right, now, so this is like the obvious stuff that people are like obvious stuff to launch. But I'm going to walk through 3 things that may not be obvious. And then I'm going to give you guys some workshop time here. And I'd love to hear what your guys' responses are or questions or whatever that is. Okay. And then we'll go through one other part of this too. So awesome. And in fact, on that note, thinking that this is like, if that's the obvious stuff, why don't we, I've been going for an hour here. Why don't we take the next 10 minutes? And this is the questions I want you guys to answer. Number 1, and it's fine if it's not great. This is a workshop, get the first version out. My first version out is never the final version. I just get a crappy version out as fast as I can. Number 1, what is your offer? Okay, so I want you to write that down. Number 1, what is your offer? Number 2, when we talk about deadline, that's more of a mechanic piece. I'm going to skip that for right now. Let's go to results. Number 2, what results have you gotten for people with your offer? And maybe it's not the full offer. Maybe it's an aspect, or maybe it's the core product part of it. But what are the results you've actually created for it? Right. And then number 3, we need a hook, but we're going to walk through that in a little bit later. First, what are you selling? Have you gotten results? Let's take 10 minutes, even 5. 10's too long. All right. I'll be back here in 5 minutes. Sweet. I would play music, but I think I'll get taken off of. I don't think I'm allowed to. All right, I'll read you guys' comments while this is going on. 5 minutes. Okay. Okay. Here we go. What are you guys selling? This will help me understand a little bit more also about making sure I'm tailored to what you guys are doing. Oh, that's funny. Okay. What are you guys selling? What results has it created for someone already? Okay, so you got a mastermind, started working on the Mifki. Very cool. What else? Here we go. Public speaking coaching, functional fitness program where people have lost weight and gotten stronger. Awesome. Donnie, I think you and I were going to chat. Group coaching. I sent you a WhatsApp message, I think. Group coaching, furniture store, marketing, consulting, business coaching. Very cool. Online therapeutic training for golfers, a course. So we got mastermind, weight loss, public speaking, fitness, furniture consulting, course, festival. What's up, Desiree? Hey, how's it going, Desiree? How to be a father, not a dad training. Ooh, interesting. Group coaching. Awesome. Okay, cool. Document automation process, scan automatically stores files. Cool. Wow. Yeah, that's awesome, Kevin. Transferring security. Wow. Personal hiring, verification, brick and mortar. Ooh, it's amazing. Teaching people how to convert their debt to wealth, buy their debt back. Fascinating. Wow, that's really cool. I'd love to hear that. Okay, so here we go. As a result, mastermind members have gotten the sales page. Built sales pages, their lead magnets convert, launch product services they built out. Cool. Okay. Now, the reason that I lean in so hard into like the results piece is number one, you should know where the holes are in your thing before you launch it, right? So you can patch them up. The second part though is there's a really interesting case study. Russell told me this in person. There's a guy that he went and he wrote this huge sales page, right? Massive sales page, goes and puts out his product, makes a lot of money. And then he shut down the ability to buy, and he just focused with the people who bought, right? So if you're like, oh, I don't have a ton of social proof, here's another way to do it. Okay. He still went, he launched, shut down the availability to buy, and then just went hard and deep. He went with each one of the people who bought and just really helped them get success. Then he captured each of their results, right? Then he went on to the sales page and he got rid of most of the sales copy, and instead all he had was just scrolling testimonials, just results, tons and tons of results. And he made almost as much money without much sales copy and just people talking about it. That's the power of what social proof is. People will believe other people talking about you more than you talking about you all day long. And so other people, even if it's not this crafted sales message, are actually better at selling your thing sometimes than you are. Because they're like, someone can identify with someone. Oh, yeah, that person's like me. I'm in that situation. They got their result. Whoa, right? And so it actually really shortens the distance to sale as you automate. You're just prepping the stage also. Anyway, all right. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk through some of the not as obvious things that you should have prior to launching. And I'm going to really dive into this first part here. There's three main pieces. I call it launch foundations. All right. You just got to have clarity on these. Not to saying this is a fully extensive list, not saying, but I'm officially going to get into the first big piece right here. All right. All right. And well, let me bring a new page up here for it actually. Okay. Has anyone here ever struggled with they should sell? I was like, anyone struggle with that? what should I sell? And it kind of became this, for me, it became this thing where I was like, that guy over there did it. Why can't I do it? You know, I was like, and not to be like weird, but I was like, I think I'm smarter than that guy. How come I can't do this thing? Right. Like, I think I can pull that off. What he's doing is not crazy. Like, how come I can't do that too? You know, and this kind of became somewhat of a whip. Not even somewhat. I was not nice to myself over this question. What should I sell? How come I can't come up with what I'm supposed to sell? How come I'm not able to sell this thing? What should I be selling? You know what I mean? And then I would overthink it. And then I would go, again, look at all these other people making money. And I'd be like, you're making lots of money selling that? You know, so I just had this really jacked up perception of what to sell. And okay, a lot of you guys, okay, yeah, right. And it sucks. It's tough. So I went and I realized this is probably around like attempt number 12. I mean, I was failing a lot. I recognized one day though that I was starting with the wrong question. The question is not what should I sell? It's who should I sell? All right. Get to know the person that I want to sell to. Get to know a lot of things about, get to know a lot of things about them, right? Their likes, their dislikes, their personality, their problems, specifically their problems, what content they consume, you know, who they follow, right? I want to know all kinds of stuff about them. But the one to really zero in on for entrepreneurship is problems, right? And then I go list all the problems that I see that my dream customer is kind of having, just stereotypically, right? All of them. And then I'm like, ooh, this is the one. And then I go turn that into an offer, right? I solve it and turn it into an offer. But I'm not done. I actually go back when I'm doing a launch, right? So this covers the needs of entrepreneur. But now we need to cover the needs of marketer, because now we're going to start talking about the actual launch itself. So the launch itself, what I'm going to go do is I'm specifically going to start looking at things like what content do they consume? Who are they following? Right? Is there a busy season in their life where they're buying more than not? They have preconceived notions on the products that they've already been buying. How do they feel about the products they've been buying? There's a lot of questions I'll shoot through with those. Anyway, and so what these turn into though is launch. It's almost like it's like a launch map. Okay, it helps me understand how my dream customer likes to buy, which we'll walk through that in a second. Let me give you a quick example though. Because we got to have clarity on the dream customer prior to doing a launch. And it might feel backwards a little bit, but both entrepreneurship and marketing begin with asking, who do I want my customer to be? Here's an example of someone I don't want to. It's a true story. About 5 years ago, this is my first $1 million webinar. I was putting this webinar out and right. And it was this 3-month period where I'm in the middle of the launch and I'm tweaking and changing the script and tweaking and getting more traffic and figuring out how to get traffic and how to convert traffic and how do I onboard, right? It's a lot, right? It's another reason why, I don't try to do multiple things at once for the most part. There's other people that do. So I get a message from this lady and she's like, she goes, Steve, I'm looking at your offer right now. What ROI can you guarantee me if I do this? And I was like, have we met? I never met you before. Who are you? And she goes like, if I buy your offer, how much money will you guarantee that I make? What's already wrong with that? First off, this person is taking no responsibility for their own success, right? And I said, I don't guarantee, but I told her, I said, I don't guarantee you anything. In fact, no offense, but I just don't know you at all. And even if I did, I'm not responsible for your success. I'm a leader, not a savior. I'm a guide. I'm Gandalf, not Frodo. You're Frodo. I can't save you, right? I can walk you through what to do though. I said, this probably is not a fit for you. And she goes, seriously? And I was like, yep. And I was like, what? I can't save you on this, right? I can't fix your financial problems, right? Why do I bring this up? What does that have to do with launching? These are the things that people don't think about that are totally part of a launch. Okay, let me tell you, here's why. If I have to beg or plead somebody to buy a product of mine, come by for my launch, please. I'll give you this. And then I'll also bleed like this. And then I'm also going to I'll discount so far that I'm actually losing money. And I just, please buy for me. And you create that desperate, hungry energy because you really want a sale. You know what I'm talking about? If you do that, it sets a pre-frame for your relationship post-purchase. The way that I sell somebody and bring somebody in creates a pre-frame to the relationship post-purchase. So again, if I have to beg someone and plead and, I need you, let's go do that, right? I have to do the same thing to them to even just use the thing they bought. And guess whose fault is everything? Mine. Because I'm going to force them to grow, right? So don't just go. You're trying to find people who actually want to buy from you, who actually are looking to have that problem solved. And this changes the whole mentality where you're not in this. Marketing is not about begging and pleading and please come buy from me. I have to get there, right? That mentality brings the wrong kind of person in the first place. So if your thing is good, stand up straight. My thing's good. If you see the value of it, and I've done a good job describing the value of it, why would you not jump in if it does solve the problem that you told me you're having? That makes sense? Selling an offer and doing a launch is not a servitude. It's a two-way relationship. And a lot of times an entrepreneur, because they've been so close to their thing, right? They're right there and they're in all the aspects of it. And a lot of times an entrepreneur is creating they use the wrong vibe and energy in their launch where they create this desperation thing. And then they create a business from hell because they hate working with all the people who they sold to because everyone is pointing at them. I ran into that my first 3 months. And I was attracting people, and this is no offense to them, but if there's such thing as a dream customer, it means there's such thing as a nightmare customer by definition. You need both identified. Okay, so on the left, dream customer, not could be customer, not has the money customer, not could go find money to just buy a customer, not the customer that you could sell to, dream customer for you, for your business, dream customer. Who's the dream? You're super, super psyched to work with them. You wake up sprinting out of bed to your desk or whatever. And you're like, I can't wait to work with these people because I love them. Right? Not that you have to be a person either, but or a people person, but you get what I mean. So one of the most helpful things you can do prior to a launch is you need to define the dream customer, just like you did with an offer. But now you're asking, who's my dream customer from the perspective of a marketer, not an entrepreneur. Okay. Now, what's also helpful is to identify the nightmare customer. Who's the customer from hell? Who's the person that's good marketing repels while it also attracts? Who do I want to repel? And you doing this actually increases the sellability, funny enough. Right? Boop, 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 boop. If you say we're for this type of person and this type of problem, but we're not actually for that type of person and that type of problem, it actually makes you more interesting to buy from. You're less interesting to buy from if you're from everybody, right? Like Facebook ads. Have you ever seen on the Facebook ads how it shows you the potential reach that your targeting is going to hit? That little scale. It's like a little odometer. You guys know what I'm talking about? The little odometer thing. And as the more and more people it reaches or whatever, you're like, let me see if I get it further. We're doing the exact opposite of that. Okay. We're trying to get very focused on the psychographic of who we're trying to target. Who is the dream, and only speak to them. What ends up happening in a lot of launches is someone says, hey, I liked your sales message. I like your offer. And they're not really, they're right here. They're not a nightmare customer, but they're also not totally a dream. They're not the dream person over there. And because you can sell them and because they have money, they end up buying. And it's really easy to develop a product for someone with a specific problem, but attract someone else. That's very common in launches. Right? One of the first things I'm doing when I'm auditing a client's launch is I say, we shoot in to figure out, okay, this was your offer. And what you said was your dream customer looks like this. Let's actually start looking through who you actually are selling to. There's a client I'm working with right now. They've made like $10 million they sell guitar lessons online for pretty cheap. Really cool company. But one of the first things that I'm doing with them is I'm like, I have a sneaking suspicion that the person who's actually buying from them is different than they think they're selling to. And so we have to create messaging in the launch that only brings in this dream and repels the nightmare. This is like part of the artistry of marketing, is creating that. You're not there to throw rocks, or I'm not talking about, not being inclusive or whatever. I'm not talking about that kind of stuff, but your product is not for everybody. Your product does not help everyone. It shouldn't help everyone. There's a guy that I was building funnels for back in college. He sold this water thing. And I know that he didn't know what he was saying when he said this, but I was like, who do you want to sell to? And he's like, well, everyone drinks water. So everyone. And I was like, this is going to fail. Right? I don't care if you have this water machine no, everyone is not your dream customer. And sometimes it's really, really helpful to instead dive into what the nightmare looks like, so that you make sure you're only creating messaging and hooks and the offer and working with the influencers that are only followed by that dream customer instead of others. Because too many times I have fueled a product with the wrong person. That's just, it works too well. Right? It's a common thing. So this is something that most people don't think about, but we want to design both. Okay. Let me keep going on this. I see a few comments come in. Let me just answer real quick. How would you sell? And then Tammy, I did see I get that launching can be scary. I get that. Yeah. See, Adam said, how do you sell products without being an attractive character? You don't have to be an attractive character. My speech at Funnel Hacking Live was with Russell. I think I saw that with Russell on stage. We're co-authoring this book together right now. It's my 5th time speaking at that event, 2nd time with him. And the attractive character model is extremely powerful. It's incredible. I strongly encourage that everyone just goes for it and just tries to do it. But getting people to know about the problem you solved and how you solve it doesn't mean you have to be the face, right? The attractive character is an accelerant. It's kind of like ads. Can you speak directly to, just even in copy, who your dream customer is? Can you talk about their problem? Can you tell their story, right? And I'm going to go through this deeper in the actual off launch itself, because the answer is in the hook. If you tell a specific kind of hook, you don't have to do the attractive character model, but I encourage you to. I hated the attractive character model for a long time, and then I realized it was the right answer. My apologies on the schedule call. Oh yeah. Also, I hardly ever use WhatsApp, so I'm glad you mentioned that. Oh, cool. Yeah, I was saying that to Donnie. Yeah, very cool. I'm thinking about influencers. The strategy uses Allison Prince. What do you think? Allison Prince is actually speaking at Offer Launch. Yeah, she's amazing. She's a good friend of mine. Desiree, exactly. How much work are you going to do? Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. Stephanie said, I had an event last week and spent the weekend with my clients. I'm so glad I work with my dream customers because it was awesome. I launched my mastermind at the event. I read the book Linchpin to prepare for the event. I'm so glad, Stephanie. I spent a long time writing the foreword for that book. I'm so glad that book is, Linchpin's awesome. Hey, it's awesome. Very, very cool. Never thought about repelling the nightmare. Yeah, good marketing pushes away. Who am I pushing away from this? I've had employees that have left working for me because they're like, wait, you really are a capitalist pig. I was like, yeah, this isn't some cute thing. I truly believe that making money is an amazing thing. They're like, yeah, just not like too much money. And I was like, and then they started watering down the mission statements that I was writing to help the rest of our team know what we do. And they would go in after me and water down the copy. And I was like, I don't think you're a fit here. This is not some, right? I'm repelling on purpose the right person. I'm attracting the right person. I'm repelling the right person. I always get comments on it. And then I always tell people, sweet shirt. I say, sweet, appreciate it. It makes the right people mad. Anyway, she's awesome on your podcast. Hey, thanks, John. Appreciate it. I was building a new funnel and got lost in it. Hey, I missed the first part. All good, Jason. What's up, Jason? And then I'll get comments in one other place here as well. Affiliate SaaS products. Okay, cool. Selling an affiliate SaaS product. Awesome, Alexander. Love it. Okay. Let's talk about more. So the first part I just want you guys to see is that recognizing that a nightmare customer exists, and it's probably going to be the majority of people who could potentially buy from you. Right? We're not trying to sell the market. You're really trying to sell like the sliver of it who fit your dream customer, DC. There we go. Right? You're really trying to just zero in on the specific dream customer and only speak to them. You're not trying to sell the whole ocean. And this actually will really help with your messaging for the launch. It helps with your targeting for the launch. It actually makes it easier to sell. It makes it easier to, and the reason is because usually the dream customer people know that the nightmare customer people exist, right? They know that they're there and they're like, oh, I don't want to, right? Yeah. Anyway, all right. Trying to be respectful. Let me shoot through though a quick story here. So I love the show Shark Tank. I'm not really a fan of the whole concept of getting VC funding. You know, there's certain businesses that it's absolutely the right move, and I'm all for someone who wants to sell a company, but some of the products that are invested into, I'm like, man, it's too new. I would never go invest in something like that. You know, I don't like borrowing money to solve a marketing problem. That's what college taught me. They're like, you're going to go get VC funding. Last semester of college, we had to go pitch to a real board of investors. So we each wrote up a business plan, and guys got actually funded. It's really interesting. And I was just thinking about how crazy it was. I'm so glad that no one wanted to give money to me, because I was already a funnelite. You know, think about like what the general business world does. They borrow money to build the business structure, which hopefully generates money. Blech. We do the exact opposite. We figure out how the thing sells, right? Figure out how it sells. Use the money to then build the business structure. And then you can start doing mergers and acquisition and VC type of stuff and cash out large that way. And now you own all the equity, baby, right? So much better. Gosh. So much better. Anyway, so let me shoot through this though. So Shark Tank. One of my favorite episodes of Shark Tank is this episode where you guys know Robert Herjavec. I really like him. His last name's hard. Robert Herjavec, awesome. One of my favorite sharks. And he sits over there on their left. He's usually on the right, the far right. Anyway, this guy gets up, and entrepreneur gets up and he entrepreneured something awesome. I mean, he invented something real, totally new, totally blue. And he invents this amazing, powerful, I can't remember what it was, but all the sharks were like jaw dropped, including me. I was like, that's awesome. This dude invented this. It was so cool. It was like he invented like this virtual reality sphere back when virtual reality was kind of a newer thing. And he was trying to get the sharks to invest in it. And it was one of those deals where all the sharks start coming together, binding together to try to go in on the deal together. And so commercials go, whatever, right? And afterward, commercials come back, and the show is dramatic, of course. Otherwise, it's not a show. And everyone on there goes, Robert Herjavec goes, we love you. We love your product. We love everything that you've created. You've invented something truly new, truly blue. No one's ever seen this before. That's fascinating. But it would take millions of dollars to educate the market enough to want to buy this. Therefore, we're all out. And I was like, hold the phone. Robert Herjavec just dropped one of the biggest keys to a powerful launch. He said, we're out because it would take millions of dollars to educate the market enough to want to buy this. Did you catch it? How much do you have to educate your dream customer in order to buy your thing? Let me say it the other way. How much do you need to educate your market, your dream customer, in order to get them to want to buy it? Quick example. When I started doing sales funnel building, I love my parents. My mom's awesome. They're incredible people. But my mom thought I was selling kitchen funnels. Anyone else doing sales funnels, and then no one else in your life knows what they are, and then they're like, the heck is a funnel? Right? I can't be the only one that's had that experience. Right? And people thought I was selling kitchen funnels. And I was like, I'm a terrible cook. I don't want to learn how to cook. I am not selling kitchen funnels. But think about that I had to go educate. Okay, yeah, a few of you. I had to think about how much I had to educate my mom on what a sales funnel is to even just have a strategic conversation about building a sales funnel. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So think about this. If you have your marketplace right here, and there's a chunk of them that are your dream customer, and the majority are probably, not that they're all nightmare customers, but there's a huge chunk that are nightmare customers. And then the rest are just like these drone. They don't really care, right? They're not going to do anything. You're only trying to talk to this little chunk of market right here. But one of the things that helps me identify my dream customer is how much I want to be able to, how much I need to educate them in order to get them to want to buy. So my dream customer criteria of all the things that are inside of it really boils down to two things. All right, so I've got a dream customer. And let's say that here is the sale. Let's draw a little product box. All right, you've got your offer, right? And you're starting to do the launch. You're trying to get people to come to the launch, building pressure up towards the payday itself. One of the things that I do when I'm thinking about my dream customer, especially with launching, is I think about the distance of education. The education bridge is really what I call it. How long of an education bridge does this person need to cross in order to, when they see my product, go, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I have to buy this right now. The shorter I can make that education bridge, the better. So this is how I choose my dream customer. It's number one, someone who buys quickly. They see the thing and they buy quickly, which means they're probably like right here. I don't have to cross that much of an education bridge with them in order to get them to go, ooh, this is good. Does that make sense? Number one, they buy quickly because of what they already know. I'm not selling someone who doesn't know what a sales funnel is. I made it in my launches. Most of them, I require that they at least know what they are. I don't want to be the person to educate someone this entire distance of what a sales funnel is, so they finally see what I do is valuable. That's a huge bridge to cross. Huge bridge to cross. All right, I don't want to do that. So that's number one. Number two, they know enough already ahead of time that they succeed quickly with what they bought. This makes a really powerful filter as you're looking at your marketplace, because now you're looking at the marketplace and going, what's the batch of people in here that know they have enough education? I don't mean like formal education. I'm talking about like that they understand enough about what you do and what you provide already out of the gate. Not necessarily you, right? But they know what a funnel is or whatever. They know what, your guys' examples right here, right? Let's see. A document automation product. Think about if so Kevin's product, apparently he has clients that take 3 to 5 hours a day to scan and store files. That's intense. So he built something that helps scan and automatically sort, and now it takes 15 minutes a day instead of 3 to 5 hours. That's powerful. Imagine if Kevin was selling someone who is not currently scanning for 3 to 5 hours a day. That means that Kevin now has to educate that person on the problem before they value the solution you made. Does that make sense? I want them to be educated about the problem that I'm solving prior to me talking about my solution. A lot of old school like internet marketers and copywriting courses start by helping someone. They're like, you got to rub salt in the wound in order for them to like what you've created. I hate that. I would rather go target the people who are feeling the problem. They're aware of the problem. They're frustrated with the problem. They know they're frustrated with the problem. They're looking for a solution. I'm only going to sell hungry people. I'm only going to sell and create marketing towards those in my launch who are just like, I have been desperately looking for someone to solve this problem. And you just come swooping on in and you only speak to that person, only to that mentality. This affects how we write hooks. This affects how I write the launch material, right? Think about the headline for like Kevin. You've been spending 3 to 5 hours a day scanning documents with no end in sight. The further ahead you get with scanning documents, the excitement of getting further of scanning documents each day is quickly dwindled when you see tomorrow's pile stack up every night. You'll never not be under a pile of documents to scan and sort. What a simple thing. You didn't go to school and get an education just to be sitting in a desk, literally scanning files. Not to say this is beneath you, but your talents could be used better elsewhere. What could you do in 15 minutes a day? I'm just riffing. This is how I would sell Kevin's thing. What could you do with only 15 minutes a day to scan all the documents and buy back your time and actually increase the joy in your career and profession again? And what is this thing? Document automation product scans automatically. It could be like, trying to think like scan saves, save. Scanning saves lives.com or something like that. You know what I mean? You see what I'm saying? We're only speaking to that. I need them to buy quickly and succeed quickly because of how much they already know in terms of the problem. They're frustrated right now, right? And they know that. That's such an easier way to go launch. And you get people thanking you while they pay you at the same time. It's really super fun. Okay. So that's how I do it. Short sales cycle, short success cycle. If they play 20 questions with my support, but does it do this? But is Steve going to do this? But is he going to save me? But what if Facebook goes down on the day of the launch? Are you going to give me a refund? But what if, but, I don't sell as people. That's what I mean when I don't buy quick. And it's not that like, I'm not saying that you're not trying to find someone who's just like a sucker. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying someone who's like, just like they're constantly, I'm not going to take any responsibility for myself. I hate that. So annoying. And so that's what I mean. They buy quick. They don't play 20 questions. They just jump in. They see the value because they're currently experiencing the pain. Like a lot of you right now, you're telling me I got a thing. I just try to figure out how to sell it. You should come to Offer Launch. To be brazen. All right. Now here's a few of the things that I think about whenever I'm designing my dream customer. And dream customers are designed and then found. What most people do is they find someone willing to pay them and then think that that's their dream. No, design the dream customer for you, for your lifestyle, for your business, and then go find them and make sure that they're in ample supply. First design it, then find them. Don't find them and then be like, it's right. It's like a combo of those two. So anyway, all right. So number one, right? They buy quick and they succeed quick. And then we're going to go into a little workshop thing here. Okay. Number two about the dream customer. Dream customer. Okay. This second part here is that, let me tell you this quote. Actually, it comes from Dan Kennedy. You guys probably all know Dan Kennedy. At the beginning of the year, I was a fractional CMO at ClickFunnels for a little bit. I only stayed for a couple of months. I don't know. It's weird once you've been an outdoor cat to go work for someone else again. So it's just like, so Russell and I are cool. We're still really good friends. But I was just like, dude, I can't do this anymore. No offense. But like, I've run my own company for 6 years now. Coming back in to work for someone else after that, like, I'm going back to my thing, you know? But I went back as a fractional CMO and at ClickFunnels for a couple of months. And had a lot of fun with it. But Dan Kennedy came in one day, and he was presenting on some stuff, and I was I was holding like these frozen meals. I hate cooking, so I get those pre-made meals. And anyway, he's looking and he's like, if you brought food in, you'd have to share it. And I held the food up to his face. I said, "Do you want to share? We could take every other bite." That's a Dan Kennedy. We had a fun chat. Anyway, Dan Kennedy has this great quote where he says, this is quoting Dan Kennedy. I'm going to read it. He says, "I've often said that a buyer is a buyer is a buyer. What I mean is that once a person proves their willingness and ability to buy a product or service, they are the most likely prospect to purchase more of that product or service. The woman who owns 50 pairs of shoes is certainly a better prospect for a 51st pair than the woman who owns none." That is a powerful, powerful, powerful quote. When you are launching, you're not trying to go sell someone who's probably like, you got two options, right? You could either go like, "Hey, here's my product, and it solves this problem." I don't like selling or launching to people who've never bought a solution to that problem before. I love selling to people who've already been buying solutions for their problem, or at least trying to find one. You see how much easier this makes marketing and launching? Who's my dream customer? And they've already been experiencing this problem, which means they're already buying things. I don't want to sell someone who just knows about the problem. I want someone who's been buying. This means I'm only selling buyers. This is easy hook writing too. Let me guess, you've been buying X, Y, and Z, 1, 2, and 3, and still don't have the result. Okay. And so what we do when we are, so here's rule number one. Rule number one, let me explain this for sure. Number one, don't sell broke people. If you're like, "Steve, I'm broke," that's okay. You're not selling you. Sell people with money. You can sell people who don't have money. There's people who have made massive businesses doing it. It's a little more advanced to do that kind of positioning. It's easier to go sell people who have money, who have a problem that they know about, who've been buying things. They've been trying to fix this thing in their life, and they're just looking for the next thing to go try. Easy sales, baby. That's easy sales. That's so much easier than educating them that their problem exists. And by the way, you're selling someone who doesn't have any cash. Is anyone seeing how this helps them increase the chance of launching successfully? You guys getting this? Yeah. Someone who's close to the hole. Adam, yeah, you've been following my stuff. That's right. Someone who's close to the golf ball hole. Exactly. Only pitch dream customers. I absolutely love that. My industry doesn't have a problem. A festival is literally me asking you to come buy my stuff. Problem doesn't mean negative. You could think of the word problem as desire, right? Meaning problem doesn't mean pain. Problem could also mean pleasure. So, hey, I have a problem. I've been working super hard and I just want to go party my face off for a little bit. And you're like, check it out. I got a sweet festival. Still a problem, right? We're selling people towards pleasure or away from pain. Doesn't need to be just a pain thing. But they need to know it, right? It's easier to sell people who, like, let's think about who Desiree is selling right now. Is it easier to sell people into a festival who've never been to a festival before, or people who go to festivals? It's easier to sell people who go to festivals. And if you're selling whiteboard markers, sell to people who are already buying whiteboard markers. Don't say, ooh, they already have whiteboard markers, therefore I can't sell to them. No, Dan Kennedy, right? They're the most likely prospect for a 51st pair because they own 50. It's easier to sell them. Okay. I knew Dan before y'all went Amways. Hey, very cool. That's awesome, Jason. Very cool. I do love your internet launch secrets. Very cool. Love it. Light bulb moment. Finding people who've already been purchasing solutions for the problem. Yeah. Right. And then it's really easy. Desiree, don't feel stupid. No, you're fine. I'm just saying this is one of the misconceptions of launching is people think that they have to build a brand new market, meaning they have to sell to people who've never been buying something similar to what you're selling. I'm not saying build a product or an offer that's just a better mousetrap, but try to find those people who are already buying something at least somewhat similar. You know, a car is still a car, is still a car, is still a car, is still a car. We all know the car. Who are they going to sell cars to? People who buy cars. Well, I can't sell that person a car. They already own a car. It's like, actually, they're going to have an easier time overcoming personal objections because they've practiced overcoming them before. They're already a buyer. If I go sell to someone who's never bought one of those things, they've never practiced overcoming those objections. It actually increases the distance to the sale. Now I have to, with my education bridge, and now I got to go sell and overcome all those false beliefs, all those objections. So like, oh, it's so much easier to sell someone who's already a buyer, already demonstrates that they want to go buy the thing because they are buying the thing. And then next time you go, well, wait a second. Is this car a car? Yes. And as you can tell, you drove here in one as well, but you hate it, right? Excuse me, does this car turn on? It does. Why don't you sit down? Here's the key. Sweet. They know that stuff. You don't have to go through rudimentary things. Same thing with funnel building. Right? That's why I don't go for someone unless they know what a funnel is. Think about what that symbolizes. They probably know, they've probably heard the phrase one funnel away. They probably have attempted a funnel before. They probably have a product that they've put out. They probably are an entrepreneur. They probably think that a sales funnel is marketing, which is why I talk about it at the beginning, right? I'm talking to you. Gotcha. Okay. Not to pull back the curtain and break the fourth wall here, but that's exactly what I'm doing. That's how I got you. Make launches great again. Only attract someone who's tried a launch. Maybe not like exactly, maybe not that you've done like a huge launch or whatever, but you at least are trying to figure it out. But if I instead said, here's your first launch.com, who does that bring in? Messaging is a huge deal when you're in launching. I don't tout around as the offer guy anymore because it started bringing people who don't have an offer. And it would be my fault. I was like, no, and so I'm teaching you. When I started instead being the offer of launch guy, it brought people who had an offer and yeah, could use some cleanup, but they had one. They're just trying to figure out how to cash flow the thing. Found you. Okay. How would you do the content for a product when you're not the attractive character? Just don't say your name and don't put your face on it. Still tell story. The principles are still the same. You just are not the face of it. All right. There's the Geico Gecko. I don't know what the CEO's name is. Very cool. Very cool. Problem equals desire. What's the other term you mentioned? Oh, like if you're selling towards pleasure or selling away from pain, that's what I mean by problem. You don't have to lean into like the pain piece all the time for this, but a lot of people only move because of pain also. And so it's not a bad thing to lean into also. Most people are going to be motivated towards you by pain, not pleasure. Some pain they're feeling in their life. Those who are motivated towards pleasure usually have less reason to act now. Unless they're just really high achieving people. All right. So that's thing number one. Don't sell broke people, which is also to say, sell people who are already buying things, trying to solve the problem. Way easier to sell. It actually means that you can have like C-level copy and still get like B-level cash flow because someone else already knocked down their false beliefs, whoever they bought from first. That's why I love it when someone buys from my competitor. Go buy from my competition. Tell them if you get the result. All it's doing is demonstrating. I'm just riding off the back of that person. You know, Disneyland has bad reviews. Everyone gets bad reviews. It's not like everyone has a successful experience with every single product or company. And so selling people who are frustrated is the big piece, which leads me to number two. So number one, don't sell broke people. Number two, sell people who are frustrated right now. They know it. Frustrated. This is what I wrote in Russell Brunson's second version of Expert Secrets. I wrote a section in that book, which is really cool. He asked me to write that because I'm really nerdy on this part. And how you target the actual person in the marketplace. Now, if you think about it, like in the marketplace, and some of this might be a little recap for some of you who've read it, but if you haven't, like version 2 of Expert Secrets, We deleted like 50% of the first version. It's a very different book than the first version. If you haven't read version 2, I highly recommend it. But if you think about it, like 10% of the marketplace are these diehards. And whatever product that they currently have bought, they're not changing. They're not changing. They're a diehard. It literally creates, for them to buy a different product like yours, would literally be the equivalent of a identity shift, right? Now, the problem is that if you think about those people who are available to buy from you, right? Think about the people who are the diehards. The problem is that you're a diehard. You're a diehard of your own product, which you should be. You made it. You're an entrepreneur. You solved the problem. You're a diehard. But if you speak diehard, who does that attract? Diehards. So if you are pitching your product right now, or you're trying to find a market right now, and it feels like every person that you're talking with or speaking with or pitching or whatever, if they're like always butting heads, you're probably pitching a diehard. And diehards are the kind of people who are, they're going to get a tattoo of their favorite sports team on their face, right? And you're going to try to tell them to leave their team. What are the chances of that? Really low. And they want to fight you just for the fun of it, just for the sake of it. Don't sell diehards. Don't speak diehard. You are a diehard and you should be, but that's the problem. Easily like 80% of the market is what I call the satisfieds. Satisfieds. And I'm just ballparking the numbers here, but the numbers are just to help people realize that you're not trying to sell a whole marketplace. The satisfieds are the people who, they're not enough pain or don't have enough desire for pleasure to make a different change. They're like, hey, look, I love my product. It's got some problems with it. That's how I feel about iPhones. It's got some problems with it. I don't totally love every aspect of it, but you know what? Like the pain of switching and learning a new operating system, I don't want to go through. So whatever. You know what I mean? I'm the worst person to go pitch. I'm not currently feeling pain. I'm not currently feeling a desire to shift. Does this help? As you're doing a launch, as you're creating messaging, as you're trying to get people to come to you, attractive character or not, don't get stuck on that. You have to talk to a very specific person who's in a very specific place on their journey. This is how you make the launches really big. I mean, this is how people also know that what you've created is for them. So don't sell satisfieds. Satisfieds are the people who bargain hunt you. Right? They price shop and they're like, Steve, I was going to go to your event, but your event says it's $200, but there was another event over there that was, you had one like, what if I accredited this first ebook that I bought from you towards it and you made it so it was only $150, right? Ugh, I'm not selling that person, right? That's a satisfied when you get bargain hunted, when you get price shopped. Not everyone's a dream buyer, right? And so you don't try to sell everyone. And the messaging is a huge part of the pre-launch checklist. And that's why we're diving into this, okay? All right, 10% of the market are the people who are frustrated. They're the ones who are, they know they have problems. They know they're the ones that are, right? And they're like, man, if someone would, I've been buying stuff, I've been trying to solve this problem. If I'm literally looking for an excuse to try someone else's thing. They just need an excuse to buy something else. Those are the easiest people to sell. Very easy people to sell. All righty. So there we go. Just going to go through something else, but this feels long, and I want to make sure we dive into this here. So what I want you to do right now is we're going to do a little workshop piece here. We're going to walk through this together, and there's a few questions I want you to answer for yourself. Number one, let's write it down here together, okay? Who is my dream customer? Who is your dream? Really think about the word dream. Okay. Next question. Who is your nightmare customer? Identify it. Nothing wrong with that. That's great. Okay. Now ask this question. What is my dream customer already paying for? If you can name specific products, do it. What are they already buying? Okay. what do I want my dream customer what does my dream customer need to know in order to be considered a dream customer? Meaning, again, my mom thought I was selling kitchen funnels when I was selling sales funnels. How much education do I have to cross there to make this clear, right? What does my dream customer need to know before they're a dream customer? I'm trying to write and talk at the same time. These are huge pieces, right? We're talking about short sales cycle, short success cycle. What are they already buying, right? Who's the nightmare? Who's the dream? And let's go ahead and so I spent a lot of time on this. And I feel backwards because you're like, I already answered some of these questions when I was covering the role of entrepreneurship. You have to do it again as a marketer because it's a different role asking the question. So you get a different response from it. And if you're like, hey, I'm now recognizing that a lot of this has to do with just talking about problems. What problem is my dream customer already aware of? Meaning I don't have to educate him about the problem. I'm trying to think if there's anything else there that boom. I think frustrated right here. What problem are they already frustrated with? Cool. Any advice on launching and promoting something people only buy every 10 years? I got a partnership with a plus size mattress company. Yeah, then I would just figure out how to get in front of them. Think about the storyline that you could create a hook around with that. Such an important decision that you only make once every 10 years is now about to happen again as you create buy a new mattress. Your last mattress, you loved it, but no, there's better ones out there. Like you're just speaking to the problem, speaking to the frustration, speaking to what they already know, what they're already buying, what they're already frustrated with. How important is the name of the launch of the product? It's pretty important. It's pretty important. It's really the flagship piece. It's a great question, Adam. Are we better to use more logical than emotional when selling to aware buyers? I use both. Some people say like, oh, it's only emotional. Oh, it's only logical. Buying is emotional, but we still need to speak to the left side of the brain, which is going to spot check the right side of the brain. I'm feeling this emotion. And then we go logic. Is this okay? Yeah, because this stat and these numbers. You're doing both. You pull them both together. It's like Verizon's new campaign, yada, yada campaign. I love that. Yada, yada, yada. Speaking of people who get frustrated with terms and contracts. Exactly. You're talking about it right there, right? It's none of the yada, yada. Love that. Dream customer foodies. Yeah. Okay. Nightmare. Cool. Okay. Hey guys, we're going to go into this next piece right here. And then I've got one and a half more things I'm going to share with you guys, and then I'll tell you where we're going from there. So cool. 5 minutes, shoot through these questions. All right. How you guys doing? How was that? Now, what this is going to help you create is messaging. Someone asked how the titles, how important titles are, how important, and they're extremely important, because what we're getting into is what is actually driving the emotions of, and what's driving the action, the emotion behind what's driving the action for our dream customer. So anyway, that is like thing number one that most people don't think about as far as a pre-launch checklist. I do a lot of this kind of thinking. I'm not like thinking about the offer anymore. I'm thinking more about the buying behaviors of the person that I'm about to go sell to, because I'm going to use it as a map. Okay. Here's the second thing that I go through when I am, yeah. All right. So we're going to shift gears here for just a second. And these are things that I'm, again, thinking about prior to doing a launch. And I've got a lot of this stuff figured out with freakish clarity before I ever try to actually go do anything. And how do I know that I've got the right message? Usually I'm testing it on things like my podcast, or this, or, I'll do like a little mini event, or I'll go do, I'll talk about it on interviews, or I'm testing it. We're testing hooks all the time. We're testing hooks all the time. Someone asked the question, how do you differentiate between money and no money? For example, aren't the get rich offers geared towards someone with no money? They can be, but they're also for people who have money and they just want to make more. There's a huge difference between being broke and being poor, though, I think. Broke is definitely a mentality, even more than a dollar amount. You know what I mean? And so that's also what I mean by that. It's the person who's like, Steve's going to save me. He's going to be Frodo and take my ring to Mordor. And I'm like, no, I'm Gandalf. You're taking your own ring. I'm not here to save you. You know what I mean? I'll be your guide, but I'm not Frodo. You're Frodo. Don't steal your own journey from you. Right? That person. That's really what I mean by that. A great question though. Love it. Thanks so much. Oh man, gaming. Very cool. Alrighty, so let's shoot into this next part here. So number one, the thing that I have clarity on is I go back through a deep round on understanding who my dream customer actually is. And again, this is besides knowing things like what's the dates of my launch, what's the, and those mechanics of launching are very important. Here's another key piece though that most people don't really think about. And what we're doing when you really start to think about who I'm trying to sell to, making sure they have money, making sure they're already frustrated, making sure they're already buying, making sure they know certain things already, makes very easy hook messaging. That very easy. That helps a lot. We'll talk about that at the event quite a bit. There's a second thing that stacks a really heavy card in your favor as well. And let me so it's really the second part here. Once I know who my dream customer is, now I need to figure out what markets they go into. Right? A customer is not a market. Who's your target market? Incomplete question. It's not even a thing. There's no such thing as a person being a market. Markets are places. Customers are people. So think about them separately. This solved a lot of marketing headaches when I started viewing markets and people as two different things. Who's my dream customer and where's the market that I find them in, the marketplace that I find them in. Okay, quick story. So as a door-to-door sales guy, right? And I love door-to-door sales. It's very hard. I did it because anyone else do door-to-door sales or telemarketing? I was a telemarketer for a while. I'm glad that I did it. I learned a lot. Yeah, okay. Yes and yes. All right, sweet. Awesome. All right. And I did it because I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And I was like, if I can't sell, I won't be an entrepreneur. So I was like, what? This is literally what my train of thought was, slightly masochist, I think. And I was like, what's the toughest environment I could learn sales in? I want the equivalent of like a sales boot camp where it's hard. I figure it out. I go all in. I was really deep with like getting into Robert Kiyosaki stuff. And he says that. He's like, you can't be an entrepreneur if you can't figure out how to sell. And so I was like, well, crap. I'm going through these product attempts. I'm still in college. I don't know if I know how to sell though. I got to go learn how to sell. So that's what I went and did. This is before I learned how to market. And Warren Buffett says same. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. So I went and I did 2 summers of door-to-door sales, and I was also a telemarketer. And I'm so glad that I did it. And I totally agree with those statements. Marketing and sales are very different. and very different than entrepreneurship, right? So, okay, I'm selling pest control. It's my second summer. I'm selling pest control. I'm going door to door. I'm knocking, right? Knock, 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 knock. And I actually was one of the top newer salespeople of the entire company for the first half of the summer. And I just knocked my face off, and I would literally run between doors because I just like pitch volume, right? I got to pitch like crazy, just pitch. I do it a lot. So I'd run between doors, and I was selling pest control, and I was signing up quite a bit. And I was signing people up and getting people pest control, signing up, getting people pest control. There's a lot of things that made the dip happen, which is also fascinating, but a different story. Well, okay, the summer ends. I knock doors for 5 months. I go back to college. I'm waiting for the day for that check to come from the company, and a life-changing amount for me, right? Like 20 or 30 grand. We were living on student loans, like $5,000 for every like 3.5 months. Like we only lived on like $1,400 a month. Right? It was tight, baby, really, really tight. So the idea of getting $20,000 or $30,000 commission check, like, it changed my life. Like it would have been so huge. And so that's why I went and did it. Right. I was like, this is going to be awesome. So I'm anticipating this. I was like, all right, I was one of the top guys. I've closed all these all these contracts. I've got, I sold tons of accounts. I can't wait. I was basically camping by our mailbox, just like walking circles around it every 3 minutes, just coming back. Like, they come yet? No, they come yet? No. Well, the day comes and this check shows up. And I see the mailman, and I like run over to the mailbox. We live in this apartment complex right in college. So I run down to the mailbox. I open up the mailbox, and I don't even go back to the apartment. I right there, open up the letter and unfold it. And right there is a check for $1,100, $1,100. And I was like, there's got to be like some extra bonus. This has got to be a mistake. And so I call up my trainer guy. I was like, dude, $1,100 for 5 months of work. This is a very painful lesson. I was like, I sold a whole bunch. I was like, there's probably more coming. He goes, no, dude, that's your check. And I was like, no, I sold a ton. I was like, what are you talking about? And he goes, that's your check. There's no other check coming. I was like, but I was like called out in front of the whole company, hundreds of salespeople. Like, why is my check only $1,100? And he got frustrated with me getting frustrated. And he goes, Steven, you spent the entire summer selling in poor neighborhoods. I told you to get out. I repeatedly told you to get out of those neighborhoods. You refused. You had false beliefs around selling money or selling to people with money. You stayed in poor neighborhoods the whole summer. What do you think happened the moment rebills came up? Guys, that was a painful lesson. That was a really painful lesson. I spent 5 months. I made $1,100. That's it. And what's fascinating about the story was that the other sales guys that spent their summer selling in rich neighborhoods, sold far fewer accounts, but because it was the right person, they made a lot of money. I didn't make that much money because I sold poor neighborhoods. How did I recover? I didn't. I went and got on the internet. That's actually what got me into the online business space. I started trying to sell products on the internet, and none of them worked. Okay. So I put in my reps, right? I put in my reps. And here's the big point. It's not like all my contracts canceled. Of course, not all of them canceled. But think about what this lesson is. I really want you to hear this. That story sucked. Here's what the lesson is, though. Can I find rich people in poor neighborhoods? Yeah. Does that exist? Yeah. It's a lot of people. And please understand, I'm not trying to say anything weird by saying rich neighborhood, poor neighborhood, but it's a thing. It's such a thing, right? Can I pretend it's the 1990s and I can say exactly what I mean? But it's a thing. There are rich neighborhoods, there are poor neighborhoods. It's unlikely that I'm going to find rich people in abundance in a poor neighborhood. Think of the neighborhood like a market now. It's more likely that I'm going to go to a rich neighborhood and find rich people in it? Can I find poor people in rich neighborhoods? Yeah. Shut your face. No, I'm not going to do it. So think about a neighborhood like a market. Markets are not all the same. Marketplaces have people that it attracts. A neighborhood has people that it attracts, right? A lot of success in your company is being predetermined by the marketplace you're choosing to serve. Marketplace, not customer. So what we do is we think through who's the dream person, frustrations, what are they buying, what are they knowing, et cetera, a lot of other stuff. Now, where do I find this template of a person? What marketplaces do I find that person in freakish abundance? All the time. And I'm going to go find, this is where I'm totally opposite of what I was taught in college. I have a marketing degree. I'm going to go against everything I was taught in college right here. Competition is a gift. It is not a reason to not go into a marketplace. Funny enough, it's actually what makes it more secure. If I can go to a marketplace and there's other businesses in it, and there's people in it, and there's people exchanging, and it's loud, and someone's putting out content, and there's a launch going here, that is way easier for me to make a successful company out of than me going to a poor neighborhood, trying to set up shop and going, I'll sign up a bunch of people that are cheap, but they're never going to stick around. Go to markets that are rich. Go to markets that are red. Go to the cutthroat stuff. That's why I don't do red ocean, blue ocean crap. No one's in the blue ocean. How risky is that? I'm going to go to where the people are. If you're still like, I don't understand the concept of a market, think about this. I have 3 amazing daughters. Love my daughters. They're incredible. They're freaky smart. My gosh, they're growing up quick. 3 amazing daughters, ages 9, 8, and 5. And about to be 10, 8, and 5. And a lot of times, I used to take them to the farmer's market. I like going to farmers markets. It's cool to see what people are selling, the knickknacks and things, and it's just fun. And so I'll put them in the car, go over to the farmer's market. And what do you see when you go to a farmer's market? You see these little pop-up tents all over the place, right? Think of that as a market. We call it a farmer's market. Am I the market? No. I had to wake up, get in a vehicle, and go to the market because I'm not the market. I just visit it. I patron the market, right? I go to it. And so a market is just a place where buyers and sellers meet. It's still true on the internet. Yeah, right? Just because it's virtual doesn't mean I find my people on the internet way too broad. Right? You still got to get narrowed in on where you're going to find rich people in abundance, right? That's a big marketplace. Don't go try to, I'm going really niche. That always makes me nervous. People say that. It's contrary to what is natural, but I'm not trying to go sell something crazy niche. What I offer will be unique, but I'm going to go to a market that's loud, baby. That's so much easier to go and disrupt. That's so much easier to disrupt like that. And so much easier to build a stable business inside of a rich market than a poor market. What are the chances? I learned, this is one of the big lessons I learned. Anyone else here like Robert Kiyosaki? I'm a huge fan. I really like Robert Kiyosaki. Well, before I tell you that, I want you to recognize that good offers, good messages, amazing funnels, fantastic launches die in poor markets. You can be crushing it with the offer, with the message, with the funnel. There could be actually nothing wrong with those things. You could have an amazing launch, but you're launching to an audience in a pocket of people who frankly may not be in a position in life or are not enough pain to actually fuel your business. And then you think the offer is the problem. Most of the time, the market is the problem. You're literally going to the wrong market. Stop going to the disposable camera market and start shifting over towards the digital camera market. Does that make sense? Go to a different market. A lot of people who I consult with, I'm not really doing that much offer upgrading. I upgrade their messaging a ton. Usually their funnel needs some upgrades, but it's not the core throbbing issue. The issue is that they're selling to a poor market that is attracting a poor, and I don't mean necessarily money wise. I just mean the wrong fit of a person. Okay. Good offers, good products, good funnels, good campaigns die in poor markets. That market message match is such a gigantic thing. And a lot of times though, we're like, my offer is wrong. Nobody bought it. 80% of the time, it's good enough to exchange a dollar. That's not the actual issue. Okay. All right. So let's dive into this one piece right here. And so let me illustrate this just as a quick principle. So my dad's awesome. He's very smart. He's a full stack developer. He's an executive at IBM for a long time. And now he spearheads the AI division at Gartner. He's awesome. So anyway, we started doing Robert Kiyosaki stocks and options classes. This is actually my first true business attempt. And we put up like $30,000 for these courses. And my dad and I went into stocks and options trading together. And we started trading and started doing paper trading and learning a ton. And he went on to continue it. I stopped because I was broke. Right. I was like, I kind of feel like I need to put money in order to make money back out, but the volume I have to put in for the stocks, like, is a lot of money, more than I have. So and maybe that's just an excuse, but then I went to the next thing, and it was really try number one of my 34 failures. Anyway, so he continued. A couple of years goes by, and instead of just doing stocks and options, now he's trading Forex. If you guys don't know what Forex is, right? Instead of just trading on the stock exchange that is based on the United States, you're trading on the global economy, way bigger, right? So I'm talking to him. A few years goes by, and I was like, Dad, how's stocks and options trading going? And he's like, good, but I'm actually doing Forex now. I'm trading the global market. I said, really? He goes, dude, check this out. He goes, did you know the New York Stock Exchange trades $169 billion a day? This is in 2013 numbers. I was like, the New York Stock Exchange exchanges $70 billion a day. And fascinating. That's cool. And he goes, yeah, that's cool, but check this out. So that's just the United States economy. The global economy trades $5.3 trillion a day. This is 2013 numbers, right? $5.3 trillion are traded every single day. And what he said, this next line changed how I market. He said, the Forex market is so much bigger that I don't have to be as skilled to take home more money. He said, because the market, the tradable volume of what's happening every day on the global scale, because it's so big, the pie's bigger, which means I don't have to be as good to take home more. And I was like, that's fascinating. I'm going to stop trying to build markets. I'm going to go for the marketplaces that are freakishly gigantic, highly competitive, because it's actually a security blanket. I don't have to be as skilled to take home more money. And he's like, the problem with the New York Stock Exchange, which is still $170 billion a day, but because it's a smaller market and there's a lot of people in there, he's like, my skill level has to be higher because the pie is smaller. But the pie is so big over here, I don't have to be as good to take home. I was like, oh, red oceans, baby. I love red oceans. I hate building blue oceans. I don't want to do that. I'm going to go disrupt the sleeping giants, those businesses that have been around for so long that, people are like, oh, you could never go and destroy. The competition is razor thin. Those are the easiest ones to make a ton of money from, because they're sleeping giants, because they're established, because people go to them. There are people there, right? Anyway, is this helpful? I hope this is like, I want to draw one thing here with you guys, and then we'll do a little workshop thing right now, actually. So let me draw this. So think of it like this. Here we go. Daughters are awesome. Mine turned 14 for her birthday. I got her a gun club membership. It's about to get real. Love it. Yeah, it's so fun. All right, here we go. So let me share with you guys how I think about this again, because I want you to choosing a marketplace, again, predetermines a serious amount of your success based on how much money is in it, based on how old it is. Markets don't just exist. Most of them fail, right? Like, how many of you guys want to go sell Beanie Babies or Pogs? Remember Pogs? You guys ever have Pogs when you guys are growing up? I had Pogs, elementary school, right? On the playground playing Pogs. How come you don't want to? Those are fad markets. They're fad, right? They pop up for a second, they make a ton of money, then they destroy. Right? Think of fidget spinners. Anyone want to go sell fidget spinners with me? No, it was a quick money grab, saturation, and then left. Most markets don't survive. I want to go for the markets that have been around for as long as time, because they've learned how to. They've learned how to acquire customers. They're smarter. Like there's a legitimate need they're usually built around, whether that's a problem or a pleasure. So here's how I think about it. Okay. So part one, I had you guys go through and define your dream customer, right? Like, here is what my dream customer looks like. This person will probably buy from me fast because they're feeling it. They're in the middle of the pain. They already know certain things. And then you're like, okay, I got these, let's say these are little shops. You guys like my drawing? Look at that. I was thinking about giving up funnels and going into sketching. Just kidding. All right, look, there's a little shop. And this person has a problem. And they're like, no, how do I solve my problem? And they're like, ooh, I could go to this set of shops. I bet that little strip mall over there, that probably has some solutions to my problem. This one over here, that probably has some solutions to the problem. There's one over here with just so many, it's an outdoor mall. I could go there. Wow. So many. That was a huge one. Right. So, and this person's thinking to themselves, I could go to one of 3 different places. If you're like, Steven, I really don't know what marketplace to be choosing. That's what I'm talking about right now. Okay. What's the marketplace I'm going to go choose to? What I do is I create the template of my dream customer and then find them, start talking to them. And then I kind of put my hand kind of over their shoulder to see where they're seeing. Wait a second, dream customer. You're telling me that you, in your eyes, think that this is a market that could solve your problem? You think that this market could solve your problem? You think this market could solve your problem? Oh, cool. Oh, you actually go to one of these a lot, and you go to this one a lot, and you go to this one a lot? What I do is I list out the marketplaces that my customer can go to solve their problem. And then I usually just choose the biggest one. You don't keep choosing a market. You usually choose one and stick with it for 10 years. I'm 8 years into this game and I'm just barely shifting my market, just so you guys know. You usually stick with the market. I've served the funnel space for years, right? It's not that I'm leaving funnel building. I'm just going to go primarily find my dream customer from a different market, right? One of them is funnels. Another one could be, let's say it's a specific type of funnel. Challenges. Oh, I'm going to go do challenges. And this person's like, how do I get customers? I'm like, oh, you know what? Oh, go do webinars, right? Or whatever. And I'm going to go find the marketplace that's the largest, the biggest, the most cutthroat, the most competitive. And that's where I'm going to go launch because it's easier. Pie's really big. Okay. So you found the customer. Now the next part of this is, here, let's do it this way. Yeah, let's do it this way. Here we go. I'm going to say, where is your marketplace? Okay. So I call this the marketplace planner. And what it really is what I have people do is I have them list out a whole bunch of different markets that they find their dream customers in. And then we just rank them. How rich is that? How rich literally is that marketplace? How much money do you think is exchanged in there? All right. I ask how old it is. I don't want to sell a new market. It's new. It's risky. It could collapse. All right. And anyway, there's a bunch of things. And then what we do is we're like, okay, well, based on everything, how about we choose that marketplace? And we're going to go do a launch into that market for that customer. And if we see that it's sustainable, why don't we automate it and we'll set up shop there, right? So I'm only building a base once I know that I can cash flow from it. All right, so this is what I want you guys to do. I want you guys to think through what the possible markets are that you could find your dream customer in. And this might feel a little bit challenging. That's fine. Usually there's a few questions that usually come from this exercise, because this is, most people for up until now think that a market is a person. Again, it's not. It's a place that you meet the person. And so I want you to think through what your market is that you'll find your dream customer in abundance. Okay, so think about that. Just noodle on this for a little bit. Be playful with it. Okay, don't get too serious about it. Be really playful with this. This is where the best answers usually come. And then once we know who we're selling and where we find them, now we can develop a launch, right? Because then we can start campaign hacking. We can start, there's a lot of things you can do with it. And that comes from the market, not the person. So the data source matters. So anyway, all righty. Let's take 3 minutes here. Sweet. All righty. How'd that feel? Was that hard? Or are you like, ooh, I'm kind of getting it? So give me some feedback on how you're feeling with this. It's at first kind of a tough concept to kind of get, usually, to separate those two out, but it's one of the biggest hacks in actually launching, you know? So let me give you a quick example. So here's my market. Let me just kind of give you the example of how I think about it. How do you help? Okay, cool. Yeah, hard but doable. Love it. Totally. So you think about like, all right, here's my person. And they're having, this is a terrible stick man. here's my person, and I'm going to go help them. You're feeling much better about yours. Oh, good. Okay, good. That's awesome, Stan. That's good. Where people mess this up usually is they're like, my market is Facebook. It's like, no, unless what you're selling, unless what you're selling is a social media platform, like Facebook is not a market. It's just a distribution channel, right? Right. So think about this, like a company is never a market. Remember that. So if you need to like rework it or rethink it, a company is not a market. Remember that there's lots of companies. It's a stupid shop drawing right there, but there's lots of companies in a marketplace. So saying, oh, I find them on Facebook, that's just a distribution channel. Okay. So, give me an example. I want to walk through someone's real quick here because I want to be able to just walk through. Okay, here we go. So if I'm in home, small business, financial education, my marketplace would include the red ocean of Schwab, Fidelity, Edward Jones, where all my dream customers would be. Yeah, so great question, R. So right here, right, you got, there's always a category king. So there's always a market category king. And this is usually like the number one business or brand, right? There's like ClickFunnels is the category king of Funnelland because they invented the market. And typically the person or the business that invented the space is usually the king of that space. They usually have the largest market share. Everyone knows about them. They're the ones people try to hack and, and hijack and stuff like that. They're right. Smartphones, right? Let's say that smartphones is the market. Okay, well, who is the category king of smartphones? Apple, right? So Apple's at the top. But then there's a whole bunch of other small ones. There's so many other ones that are in there, right? And so someone's like, hey, I need a smartphone. Let me go to the smartphone market, look at all these options that are in there, right? And that's how you think about it. Think of it like that. That there's the top company, a bunch of like B-level companies, a whole bunch of C's, right? And usually sucking up the scraps from the market share. And so I bring that up so that people, you're not ever, let me just back this up here. Right. So Facebook would not be your market unless this market, Facebook would be the top one. Social media, right? Social media market. If you are selling a social media platform, then yeah, you're gonna care about that. But let's say that I'm gonna go in back to the smartphone thing. Smartphones, and let's say this says Apple, right? Apple has got all these distribution channels into the market. They've got a social media platform, right? And it reaches into, that's why I'm drawing that squiggly line. Think of it like a hand. I can reach a lot of people with my social media platform. I can reach a lot of people with my email list. I can reach a lot of people with my podcast, right? And the other companies that are not as big, they've got their own. They're like, ooh, yeah, I've got a small list here. I've got some content here. I'm running ads here. I'm penetrating the market as far as I can, even though I'm a small company. I can't do what the big guy is doing up at the top, but right. That's how I think about it. Is they all these distribution channels reaching into the potential buyers and saying, come look at me, right? And so one of the things that we do once we have the market identified is we start to identify the major distribution channels, the influencers, who we can do JVs with, who has the most natural organic reach, who could I go do a huge podcast with, who could I go do a launch with to collaborate with. There's another reason why you don't need one of those squigglies as ads. You can do tons of. Do you know that ClickFunnels didn't turn ads on for the first 2 years? I was actually there when they started like really running ads. Russell just did JV webinars every day. That's free. Right? That's free. Anyway, that's the principle in action. Let's see. So we got another one here. That made a wealth of difference. Just realizing I can narrow it down even further. Yeah, right, Chuck. Yeah, and then the mistake though is when you start choosing a blue oceans compared to red oceans are these little tiny dots. No one's in them. No one goes there. They're brand new. Someone's like trying to burr the marketplace and it needs to be fueled from somewhere. So there's all these other marketplaces that are out there, and they'll start to kind of see if they can bring people in from these other markets to this brand new space. That takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work. And people leaving from one market to the other shrinks the bigger one. One of the best ways to measure market size is its attendees. All right, it can't be in two places at once. So think of them as camps. I can't go start my own camp without sucking from other places. ClickFunnels was almost an abandoned project. This is a great way to think about marketplaces as well. ClickFunnels was almost an abandoned project. It was a entrepreneurship hat. They were wearing it. They built a thing called ClickFunnels, right? They're like, ooh, I got this offer. ClickFunnels. They went through 5 attempts at trying to sell it, trying to launch it. They couldn't figure out how to launch ClickFunnels. My point in saying that also is that if you're like, I have an amazing thing, I cannot figure out how to launch it. That doesn't mean that it's bad. You're now solving the next part of the problem. And that's very common to not figure that out for a little bit. Very few like truly innovative products like blow up out of the gate, you know? That's not normal. It's very common for this. 5 attempts go by. All right. Mike Filsaime, if you don't know who he is, he's kind of he's a little bit bigger, probably like 10 years ago, but he messaged Russell and he's like, hey man, I'm doing an event. Come sell ClickFunnels at it. And Russell said no. He goes, no, nobody's buying it. And he goes, what? What are you talking about? He goes, nobody's buying it, man. No one's really buying ClickFunnels. I can't figure out how to sell it. And Mike Filsaime goes, too bad. I already told everyone you're coming. Just come do it anyway. This is how ClickFunnels was born. Okay. So Russell's on the plane. He gets there. He's making tweaks on his script. He gets up, does his pitch, closes 50% of the room. That's a ridiculous close rate. What does Russell do? He immediately starts contacting every single JV opportunity that he can and saying, give you 50% of this. Let's go. When can I do a webinar with you? That's why he did 2 to 3 webinars every single day for like 3 years. I watched a lot of them, right? And free. He's reaching the distribution channel of JVs, right? Reaching into the market that way. So I want to ask you one question then. Think about it like this. If ClickFunnels if Funnelland, ClickFunnels is not a market, right? It's just the one that built it. If Funnelland is this little tiny brand new market, if Funnelland is this blue ocean where it's a new opportunity, what red ocean fueled it? If it's a blue ocean, by definition, it needs a red. What marketplace birthed Funnelland? Some of you guys have been following me for a while, so you probably know the answer to this. Desiree, websites. The tweak that Russell made in his script on the way to the event was a piece of messaging. And this was the messaging. So think about it. Russell's like, hey, I sent up a tent over here, this brand new spot, this new camp called Funnelland. I know you guys don't know what it is, but I'm going to go into website world, and I'm going to start pushing this messaging out called Death of the Website. That is what he changed in the script. He suddenly was pushing against a marketplace. Well, who does that attract? The frustrated people. People who are buying, using, building websites, but are frustrated with it. Think about that. I brought the story up to Russell. I was like, dude, we have to put this in the new version of Expert Secrets. This story illustrates perfectly what a marketplace is. Okay. And so for a while, he just kept beating that drum. And he's like, guess what? People are inside buying from other businesses. I'm going to write a book on this. I'm really excited. I bought redoceanblueoffer.com, and I am positioning against some of the biggest pieces of marketing advice I was told in college. None of this was taught at college. Like, oh, there's competition. You got to get, no. This is how I think about markets. This is marketing. It's the study of marketplaces, right? Alrighty. So think about this though. There's people who are like, oh my gosh, I am frustrated with my website. And this guy's telling me, and right now he's getting people coming on over. And what happens to the size of Funnelland? It starts to grow. Now it's a little bit bigger. And then after a while, the website market, it's not that it gets tapped out totally, but it just slows down. Uh-oh, should I cool down who I'm actually trying to speak to and keep pitching against the website market? No. What happened was people were like, oh man, Russell, I would totally come buy ClickFunnels. But you know what? If I buy ClickFunnels, if I come get this, you said that it's for people who are having frustration with their website. I don't even have a website, and I'm actually just an expert in what I do, but I don't have a website, so this isn't for me. Wait, what? No, this is totally for you. Usher in the book Expert Secrets, soaking up the next part of the market. You guys getting it? Don't cool off who your dream customer is. Don't widen that. What you do is you just expand to the next market. So guess what over here? Experts. Let's say it's professional experts. Ooh, cool. Now we start saying on our little messaging pieces, I'm going to go, hey, this is for those of you guys who have a website and it sucks, but hey, it's also for those of you guys who have you're a professional expert. Let's say you're a chiropractor or whatever, right? And guess what is in those books? Stories of chiropractors. And then it's like, ooh, I remember I was building some funnel. Russell came back from speaking at the first 10X event for Grant Cardone. So I was in the office, I was building a funnel, and he walks in coming back from a trip with Dave Woodward. And he walks in and goes, dude, how's the trip go? He goes, good, but check it out. He goes, okay, you know that you guys know that slide that we always have where we're like, who is this for? Remember that slide? You guys ever seen that? Or marketers doing that? Who's this for? This is for authors, speakers, coaches, consultants, blah, blah, blah. What is making that list? The customers are. Check it out. Here's what happened. So he comes back from the 10X event and he goes, dude, you never guess what happened. I was like, what? And we were talking about this stuff because we were rewriting a lot of stuff for Expert Secrets. And he goes, you never guess what happened. I pitch, I'm closing room. It's awesome. I'm getting professional speakers. I'm getting website people. I'm getting this. I'm getting that. I'm getting my network marketers. I'm getting my affiliates, right? All these other marketplaces, network marketing, affiliates. Boom, boom, boom. He goes, there's a new one. Guess what it was? I was like, what? And he goes, B2B. He said a guy ran up to me and he goes, I would have bought, man, but when you were going through that slide and you were at that one slide and he said, oh, you didn't say it's for B2B. So I ended up not buying. And Dave Woodward's like, what? This is totally for you. This is for B2B. So guess what? The new script included B2B. And now he's not changing who he's selling. He's changing the marketplaces where he finds who he's selling. Get it? That's how to think about marketplaces. You're designing your dream customer, finding them in these places that are already attracting them. It gets a lot easier to launch because one of the easiest ways to launch is just look to see how did the category king launch and just do that. They've already brought people in. They've created a distribution channel. All right, there's people in there. Last story. Okay, and then I got something for you too. Okay, last story. One day I got curious about what birthed the network marketing market. I love MLMers; they're awesome. But all right, there's a good way to do it and a bad way to do it, like every product. So one day I started looking up how network marketing was born as a marketplace, because there's always a first company. One company started the affiliate thing. There's once upon a time, a single company started the affiliate market, the website market. Once upon a time, there's one person, right? And so looking up that backstory of that has been really fascinating. I like doing that kind of research. So here's how network marketing was born, and it illustrates the easiest way for you to know how to launch. So stick with me for a second here, okay? So once upon a time, this company named Amway This is as far as I've been able to research. I believe it was Amway. Amway was trying to figure out how to get more sales. And they're like, their salespeople were like, what if we just like got all of our friends and family together and we had a party, and then one of us actually just pitches. But if it's like my relative that buys, give me a little cut of the commission. And if it's that person's relative that buys, then you give him a little cut. And they're like, oh yeah, sweet. So they went and did it, and it worked. They did a party. Someone stood up and did a pitch, and they took a little cut of each other's commissions based on where the referral came from. So like, let's do that again. And then like, what if we don't need to throw a party? What if we just did over the phone? So then they started doing three-way phone calls. Ooh, interesting. Right? Now, what do you think a company comes across and is like, we want multi-tiered commissions as well. And what if we just use the distribution channel of each other's relatives to pitch to? Why don't we do that same thing? Right? And so this is how markets are born and sustained. I'm a nerd, man. All right, I'm a nerd. So the first company comes along, and it's Amway. And then all these other companies start coming in, and they're like, oh my gosh, that customer acquisition method. I call it right? That customer acquisition method that the top person did really seems to be working, right? Then right now it's not a red ocean, it's this little tiny blue one, but I just forgot to draw it that way. Okay. And they're like, what if we did that? And then guess what? The next company did, and the next company did, and the next company did, and the next company did. And when you have all these companies using a proven customer acquisition method, it's no longer just up to the main person to fuel the market. Now, small C-level company is out there bringing people in, right? They're bringing people in. And so is this one. They're going out there and bringing people in. They're going out there and bringing people in. They're going out there bringing people in. And you see the competition is actually a benefit because it actually secures the marketplace as a marketplace. And so one of the easiest ways that like, what launch should I do first? What I do is I go look at whatever market I'm going to go penetrate and like really try to go put a like anchor into. And I just look to see how the category king gets their customers. And I do the same one. So it's stupid when someone says webinars are dead. No, they're not. You're just bad at them. If the main person who's built the freaking marketplace does them, that's a dumb statement. Okay, just use the same one and then try to mimic their results. And then once you've been able to mimic their results, then go do things that are different. Then go do that. They've proven a customer acquisition method. For every company that has figured out how to make a marketplace sturdy and secure and stable, there's thousands of dead companies in a grave. Customer acquisition is the biggest question to solve, not what should I sell? You've probably figured that out already. What should I sell is a solvable problem. Find a problem, solve it. Find someone who's a huge amount of people who are interested in getting that problem solved. Entrepreneurship is not the harder role. Marketing usually is. Selling it, because people can't acquire customers. So this is how I think about markets and marketplaces. They're collections of businesses all bringing people in, and one company started it. That help? Because I'm hoping that this shows you guys more about why, right? Again, don't say Facebook as your market unless you're a social media company. Broaden. Think more about the problem you're solving. There's probably, if you can't easily name the market around the problem you're solving, it's probably really small and might be a little bit more risky to actually declare that as your market, you know? See, vegan and vegetarian food market. There you go. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Food festival market, health and wellness market, festival event, plant-based market. So I would consider like keto. That's a market. A lot of companies providing a solution for keto. It's a market. Newer market that's emerging, it's kind of a fad, but I'm loving it, is the carnivore diet. I love the carnivore diet. I've been on it for like a month now. It's amazing. Okay. Like, okay, cool. The beauty industry. Yeah. And so beauty industry, I think of an industry as a collection of similar markets, right? So you could zoom in one more. You could zoom in one more, Tammy. Beauty industry. Okay, well, what are the ways that beauty exists? You know, you could go straight like eyelashes, mascara, you could hair extensions, right? You could do, does that make sense? And then there's a lot of companies that do hair extensions, a lot of companies that do eyelashes, a lot of companies that do. I've had several beauty industry clients. And so there's these different markets all within this broader industry. And someone asked the question, what's a niche? To me, a niche is nothing more than crossing two markets. This is a niche right there. I had a client once that was, she helped pregnant women. I told the story at Funnel Hacking Live. I just didn't tell a lot of the backstory. She helps women who've given birth lose the baby weight. She goes, so I'm in the weight loss market. And I was like, ooh, that's a tough market. It's very competitive. Why don't we cross it with another marketplace? That way we're more narrow. I said, how about this? Let's create a niche. You're only going to go for the weight loss market and also the pregnancy market, meaning they need to be a member of both camps. I'm only going to sell someone if they are a member of these two camps together. Weight loss and pregnancy. Bam, there's the niche. Right now, think about how that changes your messaging. You've been trying to lose weight. You've been pregnant. You've given birth. What do you, right? This helps with the messaging significantly, right? Crossing beauty industry with personal development. Maybe, yeah. But are you guys getting the point though? Like, oh, this is how you choose a marketplace. It's a tougher concept. And it's also one that's very misunderstood by a lot of marketers. So we don't talk about this a lot. So I've had to invent a lot of this, and so I'm excited to go put it out there. But anyway, hey, I'm not going to be shy about it here. I do have an offer for you guys, and I'd love to share with you that will help you guys do all this stuff. Can I do that? Come to the chat, say, give it to me, Steve. I love this stuff. Give it to me, Steve. Sounds good. Okay, I have my event coming up. It's an amazing event. My event is, this is the 21st event that I've done. I've done the offer launch event 3 times. It is the event also that is fueling the entire book with Russell and has directly influenced the dramatic demonstration and linchpin models. It's good. It's good stuff. I love this event. And so I want to incentivize you guys to come. We have an awesome audience that's coming. We have an awesome group of speakers that's also coming as well. And I'm very, very excited to have you guys here. I'm incentivized. Sweet. Yeah, I would love to have you guys come. And I got some extra bonuses because you guys are on this workshop as well. I got a lot of extra stuff I'm actually going to give you guys. So here is what you guys are going to get when you guys go get your offer launch VIP ticket. Okay. So go get the offer launch VIP ticket. And let me tell you, I feel like one of those cooks where they like pre-made something and you didn't know it was there. Oh, what's up? Okay, check this out. So, serious glare. Let me shift it and boom, bam. Here we go. Okay, so the offer launch event is October 26th to the 28th. You can attend virtual. You can attend in person. We don't actually have that many in-person seats left. It is here. We don't have that many in-person seats left, but it is primarily a virtual event. Okay, so with the VIP ticket, what you get is swag. We have some cool swag we ship out to you. It's called the Offer Launch Kit. We also have a book. The Offer Launch, the Offers That Won book. What this is it took us 2 years and $20,000 worth of research to go research only the $1 million earning offers, and across lots of industries. And a lot of them have an info component. A lot of them have a, and it's been neat to see the patterns, whether it's cheap, mid-ticket, or high ticket, or free, on what the offers are that all cross the $1 million. We spent a lot of time on it. And as you can tell, I'm kind of an analytical dude. Okay, so we'll give you guys that book for free as well. It's over 300 pages. It's printed very, very nice. You guys will love it. You also get my go-to launch strategy. It's the one I've repeated probably 6 times now. I've made a lot of money with this one strategy that I just kind of rinse and repeat over and over. And it's what I did when I was brand new, really had no list and no one knew who I was. So if you're like, I'm in that category, sweet. And it's also, I still do it, even though I'm not that person anymore and then not that spot anymore. Okay, you also get the event prep series. This is my 3rd offer launch event. I've had Russell Brunson keynote, so you'll get his speech. You also get Blake Newbars, Alex Sharfin, Brad Gibb, Rhonda Melegy, Grant Larson, my dad, speaking about AI. What this is an event prep series. I want you to watch that prior to coming. They're not long speeches, but each one of them, they're each teaching you a different aspect of launching. Russell, actually, we walked through the 12 campaigns that we did to launch the Expert Secrets book. This is the only place he's taught that stuff. Okay. Blake Newbar, he came in and he shared how he turned a $1 Facebook group into millions very, very quickly from nothing. Alex Sharfin, how to manage it, how to manage the team. Brad Gibb, how to manage the cash flow with it. Rhonda Melegy, she talks about the offer pieces. My dad came and taught some seriously cool stuff about AI. Okay. You also get the 30-day trial for the Capitalist Pig Club. Capitalist Pig Club, I send out swag new exclusive swag every month, as well as a print newsletter. I personally write the newsletter. It's my place I get to brain dump. So I can send that to your house if we physically ship it out. You also get access to basically every course I've ever created, almost all of them, as well as you also get something called the 28-day Build It Challenge, which is a good challenge. It helps you build a brand new offer in a way that makes you launch it easy. So it's a 28-day dripped challenge. It is not free for everyone. That's only something that's exclusive to people who are in this. Okay, it works. There's a lot of amazing track record with it. The Build It Challenge is awesome. And then we also have the Launch It Challenge. Launch It Challenge assumes let's not dive into funnel building yet. Let's just make sure you can launch it and get a cup. The goal is 10K in sales. That's what the goal is for this. No funnel and no list. And I teach you how to go do that. Okay. And so you get access to that. And then also VIPs are the only people who get event replays. What I usually do is VIP is usually $600, but we also give VIPs a 70% off coupon code because it's a monthly thing. And so they get a coupon code to my events for 70% off. So it actually makes it $179, which is crazy. So you save about $500 with it. Alrighty. Now what you also get, and this is only for you guys, everyone who comes to Offer Launch as a VIP is getting this. All right. Most people are VIP. In fact, I've only had a few take general admission because that's really good. Now, what you also get by being on here is with the Make Launches Great Again is I have 2 mini courses that walk through cash campaign design. It walks through this in a little bit more detail, and I'm doing a little bit more. It's a little more detail. So if you guys want more detail, I know that I've talked a lot. I talked fast. There's a bunch of stuff that I was saying on this, but so you get Cash Campaigns 101, how to plan the actual launch itself, because this is just the checklist. I got to have these things. Now I can go plan the actual launch, which we'll talk about obviously in the event. Rich message, poor message. That's the key piece right there. Money, messaging is money. Money is messaging. How to mine money from the list. So if you have a list, how do you actually use the list in a way, even if it's old or kind of tired, how do you do it in a way where, wow, I can go in and take money from it without them being weird about it? Next part, you also get launching like a holiday. This is how we create small mini pressure launches that are great ways to get little cash pumps, and then how to automate it. Okay. Now, what I'm also doing is I'm going to do a live post-event action call for those of you guys who are in this. And what that is we teach a lot at our events. Most people don't teach that much at their events. They're just trying to sell. I teach a lot at my events. And what I want to do is we're making it so that about 30 to 60 days after the event, we're going to do another call recapping what it is that you all were learning to flesh out, to make sure you're actually doing it. Who cares if you're learning stuff if you don't do anything? So what this is like a post-implementation action call afterward to shoot through with that. And then also, this is just fun. I'm going to be doing using affiliates is a really powerful way to also do a launch. I've been in a top affiliate of ClickFunnels for a super long time, and it's mostly through all through organic traffic and all automation. And so I'm going to do an event. I'm going to do a course on my affiliate marketing strategy, as well as the traffic for it. So that's going to be a different event. So it's a BOGO. It's a buy one, get one free. This event will be $200, and we'll give that ticket to you for free when that event comes out. Okay. So it's going to be pretty cool. So it's a buy one, get one free thing. You'll get the actual event, but then when this comes out and it's time to, which shouldn't be too much longer, I'll just say, hey, look, here you go. And you could dive on in, and I'll make sure, if you're like, ooh, I can't make the times, and that's the reason why you're not moving forward, I'll give you the replays of that as well. Okay. So I'm psyched for that. Now, all that together, so $597 is what I typically do VIP tickets for, and you get it for $179 because we apply a 70% off code because you're getting a 30-day trial to the Capital Spade Club. But we're also going to give you right here all this stuff. Oops. In the past, like this is a $297 course, right? Doing these strategy implementation calls, usually $100 just for people to try it out. Usually $200 also for another ticket. So that's $591 plus the $597. That's $1,188. And we will make this free. So it's still just $179. Okay. So when you go get a VIP ticket, I will give you this entire thing also for just $179. You guys will, it's going to be awesome. So go to offerlaunch.com. Now this offer is only available for the next 72 hours. And it's because the event is in 2 weeks. We need a final head count. Okay. So you have, 72 hours from right now. Okay. So 72 hours and let's make it Sunday at midnight. Okay. I like that. Sunday at midnight. we're going to make it that's the final time to go and get the entire Make Launches Great Again offer, which is it's actually 2 mini courses going through this stuff. I just didn't write out the other one, right? With also the action call after the event, so we can make sure that, hey, how's that going? Remember we said these are the steps? What are the questions, right? I practice a marketing style that is very unique. It's called actually help people. Okay, so that's the point of this, is like, we did the events. Are you doing the thing? What questions do you have with the thing? Sweet. All right. And then also when there's an event coming out very soon about, I own affiliatemarketingmasterclass.com, and I've been trying to partner with ClickBank on it. We talked about it for quite a while. And anyway, we're still chatting about it, but you guys are going to come get that for free. Okay. It's a 2-day event that is a course filming. So I'm going to film a course live in front of a live audience. You guys can attend that for free as well, which is awesome. So that's free with it. So could be and has been together, right? $1,188, still just $179 as part of the VIP right there. So literally just go to offerlaunch.com and 72 hours to go grab that. And just so that you know what it looks like also, our speakers this year are insane. I'm going to start doing a few more speaker announcements soon here, but okay, this is what it looks like. Here's the event page. Just see, hey, I'm on the right page. I'm in the right spot. I think I was trying to calculate how many people have attended my events, 21 events. I mean, it's got to be like 5,000 or 6,000. But anyway, so you put your name, your email in. I'll just show you the next page right here. And then right here is going to be this video where I'm being super cheesy. Go figure. I'm never cheesy. And on the side, it's like, hey, you could be general admission. Okay, this is not for if you get general admission. This is when you grab VIP ticket, which funny enough, so general admission is $197. But because people get the Capitalist Pig Club with the 70% off, it's funny enough, VIP is actually cheaper than general admission. It's $179. Okay, so you go in right there and you're getting a 30-day trial to the Capitalist Pig Club. After that, just pushes right in. If you don't like it, let us know. It's fine. Come in and grab your ticket, grab a VIP ticket right there, and then ready to rock. And then if you want to come in person, I think we have like 20 or 30 seats left for in person. And pretty much all the speakers are coming in person and want to attend the event after. So if you see the speaker list and you're like, holy crap, I could attend. Anyway, you get to rub shoulders with some cool people. So that's where you go. All right. Excited to have you guys. Thanks so much for being a part of this. Love having you guys. But you get everything from the normal VIP, which is the swag, the kit, right? The offers the one book. It's a physical book. It's an awesome book. It's a heavy book. My go-to launch strategy, the event prep series, as well as the 30-day trial of the Capitalist Pig Club, which includes swag, newsletter, pretty much access to almost all my courses in the past as well, the Build It Challenge, the Launch It Challenge, the actual replays to the event. Plus, you're also going to get the Make Launches Great Again material, the mini course, there's 2 of them, as well as the live implementation call afterwards. And then it's a BOGO. You guys will have a free ticket and I'll just send that out to you when we actually do another one. And if you're like, I can't join it or whatever, it is a course filming. I like to film courses and events. And so this, you'll get the course for free. You'll get a affiliate marketing masterclass for free as well with that. So anyway, instead of $1,188, it's $179, offerlaunch.com. You have 72 hours till Sunday at midnight, and super excited to have you guys. So anyway, thank you so much. Thanks for being on here. I hope this has shifted some of how you think about launching, and I hope that it's simplified the process for you. I really want you guys to go launch. My purpose is to help the innovative entrepreneur who has innovated something powerful, but does not know how to get it out there. That's who I really serve. Okay. I'm a nerd in the marketing piece. And a lot of times entrepreneurs don't necessarily want to go learn the marketing piece. They're down to know it. They're down to do it, but they don't want to be as nerdy about marketing as they are about their product. And let's keep it that way, right? That's fine. The world needs you to be a creative genius about what you put out there. So if you're like, oh, that's me, come to Offer Launch. Okay. The point is to teach these things, get you to understand, but then go, hey, here's the easiest ways to go pull this off. In fact, the tagline for Offer Launch is marketing in the fewest steps. I am not trying to make it complicated. I'll teach the principle. We'll go into it. We do a lot of workshop style stuff as well at the event. And then the speaker lineup's crazy. Really excited to have you guys. Thanks so much for being here. And I am looking forward to continuing to serve you guys here at the event. Go get your ticket, offerlaunch.com, 72 hours. We want to give you guys, it's cheaper than general admission actually, which is pretty cool. Awesome. You guys are amazing. Go change the world and we'll see you guys.